Oh, just about 6 minutes away from Bryce Petty and Baylor taking on Buffalo. Petty missed last week's game. Baylor didn't miss a beat, though. They hung 70 on Northwestern State. Petty says he's going to play. The backfield's fine. Looking forward to seeing him getting things going for the Bears in 5 minutes. Allison Williams caught up with his head coach.
Coach Briles, last week your quarterback, Bryce Petty, had to miss the game suffering from 2 broken bones in his back. He returns tonight. How has he looked and felt in preparation for Buffalo?
You know, he's really had a good week. It's really been kind of surprising. You know, he started out a little rusty early in the week, but the last 2 or 3 days, I mean, it's like nothing's wrong at all. So we're very pleased and very hopeful for tonight.
He will return several of his weapons, though, in question. You were without 4 of your wide receivers last week. They've all made the trip this week. Will any of them see the field?
It doesn't look like it, Allison. You know, I think we're going to go with the guys we got that have worked out this week. And, you know, they've done a good job, you know, and hopefully we can play well up front and run the ball a little bit.
Speaking of running the ball at running back, Devin Chafin, will he see some action tonight?
We're going to suit out and see how he looks in pregame, and then if he gets through pregame, then he'll probably step on the field.
All right, Coach, thanks so much for the time.
Thank you, Bunch.
It's just amazing. You got Shock, you got Johnny Jefferson, a tailback. You got about 12 different receivers, Mayday. So what if any of these receivers can't play? It doesn't seem to matter for Baylor.
They keep going down the depth chart. They've outscored their opponents the first 2 games, 115-6. And if you look at this Buffalo defense, they gave up 47 to Army.
The quarterback, broken back. How long do you play him tonight? If you're, you know, Art Briles?
I'm glad to hear that he's doing fine with 2 broken back. I've been 22. I've also been 50. You haven't been 50. Tell me how your back feels when you're 50.
I'm sure Bryce Petty wants to get out there, and he's going to start this game tonight for Baylor. Let's see how long he progresses through it. We'll see at halftime, but for now, it's Buffalo and Baylor coming up.
It is a big night for the 8th-ranked Baylor Bears. They get their Heisman hopeful. Their quarterback Bryce Petty back from injury. The Bears on the road to take on Buffalo next. Welcome to ESPN College Football Primetime, presented by Jimmy John's. The students are here, and they're ready to go. The Baylor Bears on the road to take on the Buffalo Bulls. Hi, everyone. Dave Fleming alongside Danny Cannell, and Allison Williams is with us here as well. So the Bears on the road with their high-flying offense, 8th-ranked team in the country, and the best news of all, Danny, for Baylor, they get their quarterback back tonight.
Bryce Petty's one of the best college quarterbacks in the country today. He's exceptional with the football, makes great decisions, and he plays in a prolific offense where he gets to utilize a lot of tools around there. But he's only played a half of football so far this season. That was against SMU, and even in that game, he was banged up early, so we haven't seen him at full speed yet. When he is healthy, he utilizes all phases of the field, and he can make plays with his legs. That's interesting to me, see if they're a little bit conservative with their play calling because he's still nursing that back injury.
Interesting to you, and I'm sure interesting to a lot of folks all around college football, just to see how Bryce Petty looks. It's not, though, all about the offense for Baylor. This year especially, they think they've got a championship caliber defense.
That's the biggest difference to me in Baylor. A few years ago, the defensive side of the ball for them was laughable. Now they are championship caliber. They are dominant on that side of the football. Sean Oakman, their defensive end, at 6 feet 9 inches, is so imposing for quarterbacks. He's tough to see around, and he can deliver some blows. And then their middle linebacker, Bryce Hager, also another playmaker for this defense, who really directs the traffic back there. And he's going to have the challenge of shutting down Buffalo quarterback Joe Licata and a Buffalo offense that's pretty good.
So they're ready for football here in Buffalo. The students are getting excited. They're calling it a blackout. They're going to wear their black helmets for the first time ever. Kickoff coming up next.
ESPN College Football Primetime is brought to you by Dish. Watch all your live sports wherever you are. No extra charge with Dish. Hopper hooks you up. America's Navy. And Liberty Mutual Insurance. See car insurance in a whole new light.
Now is the time, man. Remember, it's not who you play. Listen to me. It's not who you play, but it's how you compete for 4 quarters, man. Okay? You've demonstrated all week that you understand the game plan, right? You understand the game plan. You know what you need to do to execute it. Communicate on that field. Communicate on that sideline. You understand me? And I want an attacking, hard-striking football team with the spirit of a bull. You understand me? Yes, sir. Men, we love you. We believe in you. Now show up for each other. Show up for each other. Got me? And let's make tonight one of the greatest moments in our lives. Let's stay together. 4 quarters of football, baby. Let's go beat Baylor one play at a time, man. Let's see who's pro.
Well, that was just moments ago. The head coach, Jeff Quinn of the Buffalo Bulls, getting ready to take on Baylor. Their quarterback, Bryce Petty, is back. They've got some other injury problems. For more on that, let's welcome in Allison Williams.
Yes, Dave. Baylor gets back the leader of their high-scoring up-tempo offense. However, several of Petty's weapons still not able to play. There were 4 wide receivers that missed the game last week. All 4 made the trip here to Buffalo, but none of them will play. There was some speculation that Antoine Goodley and Corey Coleman may play tonight. However, they remain out of action. Art Briles confirmed to me earlier. Levi Norwood remains out with that surgery to his wrist. Clay Fuller has not played this season with a broken collarbone. As for some help in the backfield, Devin Chafin did dress out. He is a true game-time decision, but guys, he looked good during warm-ups. We'll see if he can help him out back there.
All right, Allison, thanks. It's obviously a big story for this Baylor team. They're 8th ranked. They're big favorites here on the road, Danny, but they're without some of their best weapons. I mean, those 4 receivers, part of what a lot of folks think is the best receiving core in the country.
They are, but the one thing that Baylor has built, and Art Briles has brought this to them, is some depth. They have a slew of guys who can flat out fly down the field.
So we'll see some of the real talented youngsters. Lynx Hawthorne deep to receive. Baylor won the kickoff. It's a pooch kick, though, to the up man right around the 30-yard line, and Baylor will get the ball first, short of their own 35, and perhaps a little leery of the big playability in the kick game.
Oh, without question, that's a sign of respect for what Baylor can do.
Well, here he is, Bryce Petty, who in all 14 of his career starts has had 2 or more touchdown passes, put up spectacular numbers last year. On the 3rd play of the season, first series, first game this year against SMU, was hurt. You can see that padding in his lower back just to try to protect the 2 cracked bones, which sounds awful. It's really just a pain management thing for the senior from Midlothian, Texas, and the Baylor offense is ready to go. And a give on the first play, and read beautifully by the Buffalo defense. Shock Linwood really nowhere to go. And part of the story of tonight's game, as it is every time Baylor's on the field, the very quick tempo on offense. 2nd and 10. Petty's going to throw his first pass of the game, and he's going deep down the middle, and he's got his man. That's Jay Lee with the catch into Buffalo territory for a big game.
That was actually pretty well covered. Buffalo was right there defensively, had a man running with him, but Bryce Petty trusts his receivers. They go up and get the ball.
So a 35-yard gain, and the fake give. They're going to swing it out into the right flat. That throw is a little bit high. Good catch by Linwood, and then hit hard and driven out of bounds.
In this offense, everybody has pretty good hands. They're all good receivers coming out of the backfield, and Bryce Petty gets through his progressions as good as anybody in the country.
So 2nd down. Inside the Buffalo 30, Linwood gets the carry, and Linwood is tackled across the 25, short of the first down by a couple of yards. Ted Roy Lynch with the tackle. It sets up 3rd down. Last year, Buffalo gave up 70 in Waco to this Baylor team, and over 700 yards. Linwood trying for that first down, and I don't know. Shock Linwood needed to get to that 22-yard line. We'll see where they spotted it. They spotted it definitely short of the first down.
And it's an opportunity for Buffalo. Hey, you're going to go toe-to-toe with one of the best teams in the country. Get a stop and get your offense on the field. But this is also Buffalo saying, hey, they're going to, for Baylor, they're going to call a timeout now and talk about this one.
They do not have a very reliable kicking game established yet. So Art Briles wants to call timeout here. It's 4th and 1. Now with all the Buffalo fans excited about this one, Art Briles has done a tremendous job with this Baylor team. It's his 7th year. He has totally rebuilt what was a doormat program into one of the powers in college football.
It's one of the best stories of college football. You look at some of the great coaches around, what Bill Snyder's done at Kansas State, what David Cutcliffe has done at Duke. Art Briles has done the exact same thing at Baylor, bringing them from obscurity where they were about a decade ago to now to national prominence. It's really impressive.
And the health issues have been concerning here in the early part of the season, but there is no doubt if they're healthy, they are a national title contender. There's Jeff Quinn, who also has done a nice job with this Buffalo program. This is his 5th year. The wins and losses don't look great, but Quinn has done a good job. They made a bowl game last year. Shock Linwood will be in the backfield alongside Petty, and Baylor is going to go on 4th and 1 on their first drive of the game. Linwood has the first down and more. Inside the 20 down to the 18.
If you're Baylor, you're playing on the road, you want to take out this crowd as soon as you can. And if you're a heavy favorite, you need to knock this team down early and often to really show them that you're all you're cracked up to be, and take any hope they have of an upset out of them early.
The freshman Johnny Jefferson now the tailback, and Jefferson will get the ball straight ahead running to about the 15. So he gets 3, maybe 4 yards on the first down carry.
This is an interesting thing to me. When you study Baylor, when you watch them on film, they run the ball. As much as people want to talk about them as a pass-happy offense, they establish the run.
From the shotgun again, Petty to Jefferson, and this time no room at all. Lynch once again, who's been very active here in the first few minutes. So 3rd down coming up. Baylor won the toss, took the kickoff with a big 35-yard pass play, got into Buffalo territory, went for it on 4th down, converted that. Now it's 3rd and 6. They need to get down to the 8-yard line. Petty checking the sidelines. Maybe an adjustment to the call. Play clock down to 5. Down to 2. And Art Briles burns another timeout. Well, Petty, I'm not sure he was aware of that play clock.
Baylor.
And that already is the second timeout Baylor has needed on this first drive. We'll be back right after this. Well, back here at Buffalo, scoreless, just underway. Baylor, the first drive of the game, but facing another 3rd down. Buffalo's defense trying to make a statement early in this game.
If you're Buffalo, I say throw some pressure at them. Bring a blitz. You're going to be outmanned on the outside anyway, but see if you can get to Bryce Petty before he has an opportunity to throw it.
Well, Petty playing tonight, back from his back injury. Some pressure. The throw is right there, and an excellent catch by Davion Hall, the true freshman, and he stretched forward to get the first down.
They did the opposite. They rushed 3 and dropped 8 into coverage, and Bryce Petty will find a receiver, and when he has time to throw, he's going to pick you apart.
So now it's 1st down and goal to go. Shock Linwood to the left side of Petty, and Linwood gets the ball straight ahead running and runs right into that line. And Art Briles, I think he's going to use this game. Buffalo is a big underdog, so if things go to plan, Baylor should be in command in this one, but he wants to get that run game going. He's not been pleased with it the first couple weeks.
No, he wants to establish the tone early. And plus, it takes some of the pressure off Bryce Petty with that pass.
So 2nd and goal, the fake handoff, Petty running left. Bryce Petty looking for the end zone, and he can't get there. Good pursuit by the Buffalo defense. That was Jared Franklin.
They had shown the commitment to the run. This time trying to run a play action, run that lead blocker. That was number 41, Trayvon Armstead, through the middle of the defense. He got kind of caught up in the wash with some linebackers, and Bryce Petty had nowhere to go with it.
So 3rd and goal from the 3-yard line, and they really spotted him ahead to the 2. The extra offensive lineman, Laquan McGowan, in almost like a tight end, pushing forward Linwood, and no signal yet. He's in, touchdown. Well, it was not easy, but Shock Linwood gets in. Baylor's got the first 6 points of the game.
That's Baylor just saying, we're bigger, we're badder, and we're going to impose our will on you on that play. Bringing an extra big body, lining him up in a fullback position, and just running over Buffalo.
So now the extra point, Chris Callahan. And It's up and good. So Bryce Petty's back, and Baylor, as they expect to do, went right down the field, and they score first. So the 8th-ranked Bears, the first touchdown of the game, they lead Buffalo 7-0.
ESPN's College Football Primetime is presented by Jimmy John's Freaky Fast Delivery, and in part by the new 2014 Scion FRS. It makes everything epic.
Well, Danny, you and I were there yesterday. The Anchor Bar, been here in Buffalo since 1935, the birthplace of spicy chicken wings. Yeah, that's why they're called Buffalo Wings. They were born here.
It was all it was cracked up to be, too. I pounded some of those, a whole plate. I think 20 wings put down. They were impressive.
Dave Fleming, Danny Cannell, Allison Williams, the Baylor Bears on the road. A lot of Baylor fans here in town to watch their 8th-ranked team, Shock Linwood, with the 2-yard touchdown run behind the big boys. So Baylor, and it was not easy, 12-play drive. This Baylor offense known for its quick strike ability, their incredible explosion on the outside. Buffalo made them work for those 7. And Buffalo, a team in the MAC, a conference that has had a lot of teams give the power conference teams trouble in the first few weeks of this season. Buffalo's going to get the ball for the first time. Spencer Evans handles the kickoff duties. And it's Devin Campbell who'll take it outside the 5. Campbell to the 20 and hit hard and knocked backwards. Let's take a look at that touchdown run.
Well, we talked about a big body coming in to lead a lead blocker for Shock Linwood. How about number 60? Watch him right there. That's Laquan McGowan, 6'7", 390 pounds. That is not a typo. And watch him. He gets man-to-man right on the middle linebacker, leading the way for Shock Linwood. If you're Shock Linwood, you got to feel pretty comfortable running behind that guy leading the way for you.
I mean, Lee Skinner, that linebacker, he's a pretty big guy, 230 middle linebacker.
Yeah, but that's 170 pound. What is 160 pound difference?
That is
unreal.
So now Buffalo and their quarterback Joe Licata, who can put up some big numbers himself. He is a good leader. And Buffalo's offense has been very productive so far this year. Licata's going to throw on first down, and he's got a man out across the 30 and pushed out of bounds. That's Devin Hughes with the catch and run. The junior from Williamsville, which is just down the street.
Yeah, I like him a lot. He's a real competitive young man. Like talking to him yesterday. He's very cerebral. It is imperative that he gets the ball out of his hands quickly versus a really nasty pass rush from Baylor.
Delayed handoff. And Baylor read that one well.
That's a lot of the play calling you can try to implement to help your offensive line. Have a draw, try to get those pass rushers up the field and slip one underneath, but Baylor is well aware. You do that, you call some screens, get the ball out of his hand quickly to try to help your offensive line.
Well, Buffalo lost a couple yards, so it's 3rd and 5 here for Licata and the Bulls offense. The fake handoff, and then the pump fake. He's got a man wide open, and the ball is dropped. Marcus McGill had a touchdown, and Buffalo could not convert. What an opportunity. It was there. Incomplete.
Boy, what a perfect play call. The blitz was coming, so you're thinking, hey, he's got to throw something short and quick. Well, they pick it up, and they call a hitch and go on the outside, and Marcus McGill, you see it, hits him right in the hands. And Joe Licata, that's got to hurt. When you're playing a team like Baylor, you have to make the most of those opportunities. And that is a real missed opportunity for Buffalo.
Well, that was a touchdown.
Yeah, it was 7-7.
Well, the punt, Tyler Grassman, sort of end over end, takes a very Buffalo-friendly bounce all the way back inside the 20 and still going on this artificial surface inside the 10 near the 9-yard line. That's where the Bears offense will take over. College football on ABC continues on Saturday. It's Butch Jones in Tennessee looking for an upset on the road against 4th-ranked Oklahoma. Saturday Night Football on ABC, presented by Wells Fargo. Tennessee, Oklahoma at 8 Eastern.
Both those teams have looked really good early, but neither have been tested.
That was a 64-yard punt. Little consolation, though, to Marcus McGill and Buffalo, because that was a touchdown, wide open, the ball on his hands.
And that's the one where if you're Joe Licata, Buffalo's quarterback, you got to go right up to him and say, hey, I'm coming back to you on the next drive. We'll get it again, shake it off.
Petty to Jefferson on first down, and Johnny Jefferson hit at the 10 and knocked backwards. Seems to me that Buffalo early in this game, Danny, is looking for the run plays.
And they should be. I mean, this is what you would expect with Bryce Petty nursing that back injury, that they'll be a little bit more conservative. The problem is you get your nose up in there, they're going to throw one over the top.
Petty with the play fake, going deep, and he's got a man wide open, and this time the catch is made. K.D. Cannon is gone. The true freshman sensation, another touchdown, his 5th of the year already. This one, 89 yards. And that's the quick strike. Big playability for Baylor.
K.D. Cannon, one of the fastest receivers on this squad, lined up in the slot right here, and he's just going to run vertically straight up the field without hesitation. He's gone right there. He's putting up his hand, and Bryce Petty stuck it in the back's belly. Linebackers, just like we just talked about, they got up in there and beat him for the big play.
Extra point up and good, and Baylor, that's like the Bears offense we know so well. K.D. Cannon with a tremendous pass play, and Bryce Petty, he's back, and he's looking pretty good. So the 8th-ranked Bears and Bryce Petty have jumped out to a 14-0 lead. Well, those two are going to hook up quite a few times this year. I think that's safe to say. Bryce Petty to K.D. Cannon, the true freshman who might be the most gifted freshman wide receiver in the country. 14-0 Baylor on the 89-yard touchdown pass. K.D. Cannon last week against an overmatched Northwestern State team, but still 223 yards, 3 touchdowns in the first half of that game.
Did I tell you about Baylor's depth at the wide receiver position? Remember, they have 4 guys that aren't playing, and that's what they fall back on.
And even without those top guys, they've got Cannon and company. Extraordinary talent for the Bears. Devin Campbell once again on the kick return, trying to get to that corner, and he gets shoved out of bounds. Let's check in with Chris Cotter back in the studio.
Dave, we may have a champion crowned by the end of the night tonight over on ESPN2. WNBA Finals, Game 3 in best of 5. It's Phoenix up on Chicago right now. If they win, they're champs, but they're going to have to do it without Brittany Griner. She's got an eye injury, so she's sitting out this one over on ESPN2. Dave, Danny?
All right, thanks, Chris. Of course, Brittany Griner, a very proud Baylor Bear.
I was watching that game when she got hit in the eye. That was nasty. Hopefully she'll be all right. Come back soon.
Anthony Taylor, the tailback, Licata under center, gives it to Taylor. Good power run, not a whole lot of room. And let's go down to the sideline to Allison Williams.
Marcus McGill was absolutely beside himself when he came off the field after dropping what could have been a Buffalo touchdown. Everybody trying to console him. Coach is telling him, you got to do better. You just got to get the next one. That's all you can do, making sure he stays forward thinking. And Joe Licata, his quarterback, came over, pounded him on the shoulder pad, said, look, don't worry about it. I trust you. We'll get you out there.
Well, thanks, Allison. And that's sort of what Danny was talking about, how you got to figure out a way to key. He's one of their big playmakers. Had a huge game against Army last week from a pistol-type formation. And Taylor dives forward to the 25-yard line. It'll be 3rd down and 6.
I think it's critical they go back to Marcus McGill, even if it's just a hitch, something easy, to get his confidence back and to truly show him that you're going to give him a chance.
McGill does come back in the game for this 3rd and 6 play, and he's trying to figure out where he's supposed to be on this play call. They got plenty of time on the play clock.
And they need to utilize some time to give their defense a breather.
The pressure coming and sacked, and that's big Sean Oakman from the blind side to bring down Joe Licata. What a talent.
He's one of our impact players. We walked by him in pregame, and my jaw just dropped. Sean Oakman, number 2 right there, is basically LeBron James in pads. He's listed at 6'9", 280, and that is a whole lot of man right there. That is just so tough to stop. You see number 667, Jake Silas, and he just runs right around him. That's just speed and power.
Well, I don't know if Sean Oakman can hoop it up at all, but I think if you put the pads on LeBron, that is what he would look like.
Yep.
A low bouncing punt, and it'll kick toward the sideline and be down there. So 14-0 Baylor ahead, and they get the ball back. How about our Friday focus here on this Friday night? What's going on as teams across the country get ready for tomorrow? Game day back in Fargo, which is such a great scene. Danny, I know they're thrilled to be back there. And Lee and Desmond getting ready for the show tomorrow morning. SEC Nation from Gainesville with a very interesting SEC game. SEC Nation at 10 a.m. Eastern on the SEC Network. Yeah, Tim Tebow's back on campus. You think they're excited about that?
Oh, absolutely. I think he's excited to watch that offense. The new look. They finally went off last week against Eastern Michigan. Now they'll get an opportunity versus an SEC team. See if they can keep up that pace.
A lot of positive vibes. They're going to get Cannon another touch. Cannon gets to the corner, and KD Cannon shoved out of bounds short of the first down. He gets about 7.
If Florida's offense is good, they don't have to be great. They could contend in the SEC. They could win the East, and they could challenge if their offense takes some strides.
Here comes a quick tempo offense, and that pass is corralled. Nicely done by Davion Hall, who's sort of been overshadowed as another true freshman by Cannon's incredible production, but Hall is a spectacular talent, too.
Here comes the pace, too, right up, ready to snap it.
Very quickly, Petty running the option and pitches to Linwood. That was defended well.
So many different ways they attack you. Baylor, they've got the power run game, which I think is underrated. I don't think a lot of people talk about that with Baylor. They've got the vertical pass game, and then they've got Bryce Petty working zone reads, just an option straight down the line that time. So tough to stop them.
Already 185 total yards, and on the move again down to the Buffalo 30, leading 14-0. Buffalo had the chance for the big play, didn't convert, and now back on their heels. Shock Linwood. A nice gain across the 25, 6 yards to bring up 3rd down. Rashadrick Linwood, the sophomore, who was a freshman All-American last year, and expected to carry a bulk of the load on the ground for Baylor. 2 receivers right, 2 left, and now a whistle and a timeout.
First time out of the half. Buffalo
calls their first timeout.
30-second timeout.
So Petty and the freshman Davion Hall talking about getting things set up correctly. We'll be back right after this. Baylor on the road against a MAC team, the Buffalo Bulls, and very much looking like the 8th-ranked team in the country. 14-0 their lead, 5:20 to go first quarter. Baylor has the ball on the move again. Bryce Petty, who is 6 for 6 for 162 yards already. On 3rd and 4, Petty with Linwood alongside in the backfield. We'll give it to Shock Linwood. Straight ahead running, and Linwood will walk into the end zone. Touchdown. And now Baylor's making it look easy. 24-yard touchdown run. His 2nd touchdown of the game already.
So tough. Baylor spreads with their splits. They spread the defense out so wide, which creates holes right up the middle like this one for Shock Linwood to run through. It's another dimension they bring to the table.
Extra point up and good, and so Baylor 3 possessions, 3 touchdowns, a first quarter lead of 21-0, which is not a shock considering the high-powered nature of this Baylor Bears offense. 8th-ranked team in the country. Dave Fleming, Danny Cannell here, thinking maybe possibility upset. I don't know if Buffalo has enough firepower to keep up with this team. Friday Night Football here from New York State. Danny, we got a new feature here this week on Friday night. It's called Show Me Something, and you're looking ahead to Saturday's games, looking for a team, a coach, a unit, a player to show you something on the Saturday.
Yeah, I want to put guys under the gun. I want to see if they can respond to a challenge. That's basically what Show Me Something is. I'm going to put Trevor Knight, Oklahoma's quarterback, on the. I want to see him. I want to see if he can show me something against Tennessee. Look, he's been great. He's carried over that confidence from the Sugar Bowl, the performance against Alabama, right into this season. Now he gets the opportunity to do it against an SEC defense in Tennessee. He should. They're a young secondary. He should be able to put up some numbers, but I want to see if he can go out there and do it on the big stage for the first time this season.
Well, we also want to hear from you. If you've got somebody or some team in mind, you could use that hashtag at ESPNCFB. Let us know who you're looking for. Show me something. Here's the kickoff. Buffalo's going to get the ball back here. And the special teams coverage good once again for Baylor. Devin Campbell tackled across the 25-yard line. Well, for the Bulls, you sort of feel for Buffalo. They came out with an excellent play call on their first drive and had a wide open receiver, and what would have been just as easy a touchdown as you could have. The ball was not caught. They gave the ball back to Baylor, and now it seems like just a few seconds later, 2 more touchdowns.
Yeah, it was really that. The play was of that magnitude. If you're hoping to pull off any upset, you have to make every single play when you get that opportunity.
Joe Licata and company, they feel like they could put some points on the board. That's a nice pass into tight coverage, and Matt Weiser, the tight end, for a first down across the 40 for a 14-yard gain.
Joe Licata showcasing the quick decision-making, getting it out of his hands quickly. He's not going to have all day to pass. His tight end for a quick hitter.
That is their first down of the game.
And that's what Baylor's goal is to force 3 and outs. So they'll be frustrated with this drive. They didn't get one.
The Baylor defense, they consider a 3 and out a turnover with their offense so high-powered. Licata dragged down after he got across the line of scrimmage. Avion Edwards, a very fast sophomore linebacker.
And they don't worry about total yardage. They want to get the force 3 and outs. I mean, they have already 13 this season. Last year they averaged 6.38 a game, which led the country. And it's interesting to watch because with their offense, they're going to be on the field a lot. A lot of teams are going to start throwing, getting junk yardage at the end of the game. So statistically, they want to see how many times they can get the team off the field.
And off right side running, and just nothing there for Jordan Johnson, the sophomore. So third down coming up, 3rd down and 9 for Buffalo. Speed, that's the name of the Baylor defense. They want speed. We talked to their defensive coordinator, Phil Bennett, and there's Coach Bennett. What do you look for in players? You bulked up the talent on that side of the ball, and the first words, they got to run. Everybody's got to run at every position.
Big Sean Oakman.
Yeah, he can run at 6'9", 280.
Coming off the edge. You might want to get somebody to help out that left tackle. Maybe Chip.
Only job for Jake Silas. They're running the ball on 3rd and long. A nice cut and a first down for Jordan Johnson. That turns out to be a brilliant play call into Baylor territory for the first time and all the way down near the 40-yard line.
I almost heard a groan from the Buffalo crowd saying, oh, what are we doing running the ball? You're playing against a dime defense. They're all expecting pass, get the numbers, and a decent run from Buffalo.
16 yards down to the 42 of Baylor. So the Bulls on the move for the first time from that pistol look. And a delayed handoff to Johnson. Trying to break that first tackle. Couldn't quite do it. Did fight back to the line of scrimmage, maybe forward for a yard. Jordan Johnson getting some action here in the first quarter. They think he's got a chance to be a very good running back.
If you're Buffalo, you want to try to look for little victories at a time. Like, the first drive, obviously, they didn't get it with the missed touchdown pass. But each drive, try to see if you can gain some momentum. Each play at a time. So you can get a score. Try to cut into this lead.
Joe Licata with some pressure coming, and he gets rid of it. Had a man, but he threw it behind his receiver, Devin Hughes. Incomplete. Well, the all-new chase begins in Chicago with the Challenger round. It's the chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup, the myafibstory.com 400 at Chicago Sunday at 1 on ESPN. Meanwhile, college football on a Friday night from Buffalo. The Bulls out of the MAC, a contender, they believe, in the MAC this year. But a tall task, the highest ranked team ever to come play here at what they call UB Stadium, the 8th ranked Baylor Bears. Licata on 3rd down, and he's pressured and dragged down from behind. Jamal Palmer got him. It's a sack, and it brings up 4th down.
Well, that's what you can't do if you're Joe Licata. You can't hang on to the football that long. And they're trying to push guys vertically down the field, but you got to know that clock in your head. It's even got to be a faster clock than usual against this defense.
And that may be what Jeff Quinn is talking to his quarterback about.
Because if you would have even got some positive yardage, found an outlet, maybe didn't get the first down, you could have thought about going for it on 4th down. But here, 4th and 11, you're forced to punt.
You know, frankly, I wouldn't have been surprised if they'd gone for it anyway.
Yep.
Against this Baylor team. Tyler Graspin, the punter. And he'll try to angle this one. Bounces. And it's going to stop inside the 15-yard line down to there. Well, we've been talking about some of the games coming up tomorrow. Tennessee, Oklahoma is a big one. Danny, you got a key matchup in that game?
Without question. I think it's going to be a physical matchup between two teams that are sort of in different spots right now. Oklahoma, one of the premier teams in the country. Tennessee is still young under Butch Jones. They're trying to prove themselves. They've got a lot of momentum. Big win against Utah State. The crowd there was sensational. They're trying to prove they can go toe-to-toe with some of the best teams in the country.
Well, look, the Big 12 has more than just 2 teams. I mean, we've seen some good stuff from Oklahoma State. West Virginia maybe is going to have a bounce-back kind of year. We'll see. There are other talented programs. Kansas State will always be solid under Bill Snyder, but it just feels like a Baylor-Oklahoma collision course this year in the Big 12. Petty on first down, tons of time, and he finally found a short receiver. Jay Lee for the catch. Tackled short of the first down.
And Baylor and Oklahoma both got a huge break last weekend when the Big Ten absolutely got hammered. When they got demolished, devastated, whatever word you want to look as far as the postseason picture, those two teams had to be celebrating.
The fake give, Petty straight ahead power running. And maybe Bryce Petty feeling pretty healthy. That is usually a big part of his game. He gets the first down for the Bears.
Yeah, he hasn't shown any signs of any irritation, any sort of pain in that lower back, the part that he hurt.
He is a big dude, 6'3", 230 pounds, but he can move. The fake give, Petty, right, and throws, and he's got his receiver along the sideline. Perfect delivery to the true freshman once again, K.D. Cannon.
Boy, it's so tough to defend these receivers for that long.
He was definitely in. So K.D. Cannon, another catch. He's got 3 and over 100 yards in the first quarter. Now the quick hitter out to Lee once again. It's another Baylor first down. Move the chains. Sometimes they can't even get the chains set before Baylor's ready to run another play. Petty looking left, throwing left, and incomplete. That's his first incomplete pass of the game. Trying to hit Cannon once again.
A little miscommunication between K.D. Cannon and Bryce Petty there. Cannon hooked up his route. Petty thought he was going to run vertically, and if Cannon would have run vertically, he might have had the same looking touchdown he had before. But he's young. He's a freshman, still learning the offense. Some of those reads as a wide receiver.
Linwood gets the carry straight ahead. Big hole inside the 35, and a first down inside the 33-yard line. Already leading 21-0, 13 seconds to go first quarter, and a penalty flag is thrown. It's a false start as the ball was snapped.
False start. Offense number 9 was never set before the snap. 5-yard penalty. First down.
Freshman K.D. Cannon having troubles, and that is something that Buffalo and every defensive coordinator who faces an up-tempo team wants to see called, because you'll see that a lot. Up-tempo teams who go so fast, they get away with a lot of penalties that should be called against them because they're trying to go fast. They don't get set. Exactly what happened right there.
First quarter's over. The powerful Baylor offense on the move again, leading 21-0. Well, Well, they did build up a lot of excitement here in Buffalo for this game. Highest ranked team ever to come to UB Stadium. The 8th ranked Baylor Bears out of the Big 12. 21-0 Baylor leads, and they have the ball as the second quarter gets started. Maybe be careful what you wish for. The students were extremely excited before the game about the start of this one. Now a flag thrown. That was, I think, movement again.
Ball start. Offense number 73. 5-yard penalty. First down.
I mean, if you're Bryce Petty and this Baylor offense, you're thinking, hey, it's an opportunity to get some more yards, more statistics.
Well, the Buffalo defense, they made Baylor work the first time down the field. Since then, though, things have softened up.
Yeah, I think Buffalo needs to just throw the kitchen sink at them. I mean, you're going to get scored on. Might as well make it tough. Try to get in the backfield a little bit, pressure Bryce Petty, force the issue.
2 penalties in a row. It's 1st and 20. Hand off and a bounce to the right side. A flag thrown behind the play. Johnny Jefferson with the carry for close to 5 yards if it stands.
Holding. Offense number 41. 10-yard penalty. First down.
That's against the tight end Trayvon Armstead, who is a physical freak. 6'6", 265.
Right side of your screen, Trayvon Martin coming across. See right there, the end of that play, grabbing that jersey and almost pulling the defender towards him. See that jersey grab? They're going to call that one every time.
So that's 3 penalties in a row called against Baylor.
Still first down, though.
It is still first down. So it almost doesn't matter first and whatever. Baylor feels like they can get it. Petty looking to pass. Just a 3-man rush and all the time in the world. Cannon knocked away, incomplete. A good defense there. And that's a linebacker. At least they call Okezi Alozie a linebacker in coverage. That's a pretty good job.
Yeah, and basically Bryce Petty tries to underthrow. It's back shoulder throw he's attempting. And Alozie right there, good job recognizing he saw it in the air, getting that offhand on it.
Now a quick throw to Cannon, who turns it upfield, breaks a tackle. Cannon shoved out of bounds inside the 30. So that quick burst of acceleration for the true freshman from Mount Pleasant, Texas. 22-yard gain. Now it's still 3rd down.
But much more manageable than you would have expected coming out of 1st and forever.
1st and 30, 3rd and 8. After that 2nd down play. Petty throwing over the top, wide open, caught. Touchdown, Jay Lee. And it's 27-0 Baylor.
This is a really simple read for Bryce Petty. Here's the safety, single safety. You've got 2 vertical routes right up the middle of the field. These are wide open. He could have picked either one to throw the touchdown to. I mean, that's about as easy as it gets in college football day.
You think Lynx Hawthorne is feeling a little left out? He had a touchdown himself, but they threw the ball to Jay Lee. Bryce Petty looking healthy and excellent. 248 yards through the air and 2 touchdowns already. It's 28-0. Baylor has the lead. ESPN brings you college football primetime presented by Hampton Hotels. Cody Kessler off that great win at Stanford, 9th-ranked USC. A long way from home on the road against Steve Addazio on Boston College. USC, BC, Saturday at 8 Eastern on ESPN. A little more on that matchup. Let's bring in Allison Williams.
Well, guys, Holly Rowe will be working sideline for that game. I talked to her today, and she said something that I don't think will surprise you too much. Remember, we saw BC last week and quarterback Tyler Murphy. He told her that he has to do a better job against USC of making the most out of the opportunities he has. He felt like last week in our game against Pittsburgh, he had opportunities, and he just wasn't able to capitalize on them, and that's something he really has to adjust this week against USC.
Thank you, Allison. Tyler Murphy's got some skills. The Florida transfer, he won that job as a 5th-year player for Boston College. He can use his legs, and a part of, I think, what Tyler's probably talking about is hit some of those open receivers when the pass play is there.
He struggled last week. We got to see him play against Pitt, and he needs to play better if they want to have to pull off the upset. But I was really impressed with USC in their win at Stanford.
Devin Campbell, kick return, and tackled with a flag in there as well. Across the 15, short of the 20. So we'll wait to see what the penalty is. The referee, Greg Blum. This is a mostly MAC crew.
Illegal block in the back. Return team number 52. Half the distance to the goal. First down.
So it won't be great field position for Jeff Quinn's Buffalo offense. Coach Quinn, though, has done a nice job with this program. He has improved things, to say the least. Brought to you by Lowe's. Never stop improving. When he took over, this was a program in big trouble. Last year, 8 wins and a bowl appearance and a top 5 NFL draft choice. So he's won games. He's developed a lot of talent.
And one of the things that really helped put Buffalo on the map was Khalil Mack. You know, one of the best defensive players in the country last year, set several records. And Coach Quinn talked about that, said, hey, when people talk about, hey, Khalil Mack, how about Khalil Mack? They reference him with Buffalo, and that's great exposure for the school.
Joe Licata trying to go deep left sideline. Excellent coverage, and the ball is incomplete, out of bounds. Well, Khalil Mack, whom the Raiders took in the top 5 of this last NFL draft. Tremendous career. Look at those forced fumbles and career tackles for loss. Both of them NCAA records. He was the MAC Defensive Player of the Year and then some. Could have cut his production in half and he would have won that award. Tremendous talent. Now playing in the NFL. Handoff to Anthony Taylor on 2nd and 10. It's going to be 3rd and long for Buffalo. Jeff Quinn, who was for a long time right alongside Brian Kelly, part of some of Brian Kelly's best teams before that Notre Dame opportunity. And as Coach Kelly went to South Bend, Jeff Quinn was hired here. They still are very close friends, and you can see a lot of that influence in the offense that Buffalo runs. Licata, fake handoff, quick hitter on a little wide receiver slam and a first down. Nice play across the 20 out to the 24.
Remember the difference? The last time Joe Licata was in a 3rd down situation, he hung on it too long. Quick release, gets it out this time. Picks up a nice block from Marcus McGill. And as long as you can stay on the field, the better. The more help it gives your defense to rest and the more confidence you can build. And Buffalo needs to work on some things. They're getting ready to face their conference schedule as well.
Handoff left side. Stacked up at the line of scrimmage. Anthony Taylor, 2nd down. Well, the MAC is perhaps a little more open than we would have thought at the start of the year, but there have been some quarterback injuries. A very talented Johnson kid for Bowling Green. He is out. And so Bowling Green may not be quite the favorite that some thought they were. They're good teams in that league, but Buffalo thinks they can compete for that MAC championship. Play clock down to 6. Licata under center on 2nd down. And somebody moved.
False start. Offense number 25, 5-yard penalty, 2nd down.
So that's John Dunmore, who just had that first down catch. This time commits the penalty. Buffalo gets set up on offense, and that's going to be a timeout.
Prior to the illegal substitution foul, timeout, Buffalo. Their 2nd of the half.
Well, the Bulls weren't happy about that. They used the timeout to avoid the penalty, and we'll take a timeout ourselves with Baylor leading 28-0. Well, it's a beautiful night. We're just down the road from spectacular Niagara Falls in Buffalo, where the 8th-ranked Baylor Bears lead 28-0 on the Buffalo Bulls. A beautiful scene. That's from the U.S. side.
How cool is that? At nighttime. I was there this morning. I went for a jog around there. It was never seen it before. It was pretty unbelievable. It was an amazing sight.
You're coming here to work, coming here for football, and a little sightseeing too. The slant complete to Devin Hughes. That'll be 3rd down for Buffalo. Okay, we're unveiling Show Me Something. Using the hashtag. The tweets are rolling in. What do you think about this one, Danny?
Hey, I agree with them. You know, Georgia, they have struggled when they've gone to Columbia, and they probably will have to score more than 20 to walk away with the win. I've been pumping Georgia up, saying I think they're the best team in the SEC from what we've seen thus far, and they need to prove it.
Licata, right sideline, looking deep, almost like a jump ball, incomplete.
Bryce Petty, one thing I noticed about Bryce Petty, when he throws the deeper balls, when he throws the fade route down the field, really gives his receivers a lot of air. And that's a good thing if you trust your receivers to go up and get it. You've got a taller receiver on the outside, 6'3", 215 pounds. Give him an opportunity.
That was intended
Licata,
for Ron Willoughby. So it'll be another Buffalo punt, and this is a problem. You play Baylor, you know you got to score points, but you have to try to stay on the field as an offense. Raspin, the punter. Another end-over-end kick, and it'll be down inside the 40-yard line. Well, we were talking about that Georgia-South Carolina game, Danny. How about a key matchup in that one?
Well, I think everybody in the country is going to be watching Todd Gurley, so he obviously is going to be a focal point for the Georgia Bulldog offense. And then defensively for South Carolina, the sophomore, Sky Moore, led the team in tackles last year. He's going to have to lead a front seven that I would expect would put 8, 9 guys in the box and force Hudson Mason, the Georgia quarterback, to beat them, because you saw the damage that Todd Gurley can do on his own, and you've got to try to eliminate that element of Georgia offensively.
So Bryce Petty and his Baylor offense back on the field, already up 28-0. Still 11:19 to go until halftime. Petty looking deep, looking for Cannon, and incomplete. Well, that is, Danny, the only top 25 matchup this week in college football. Dave Fleming, Danny Cannell here from Buffalo. So I think a lot of the attention is going to be focused on that one. And for South Carolina, it's almost like their season's on the line.
Well, it's a must-win for them, for South Carolina. What they're looking at, they already started on the national stage against Texas A&M in a very poor performance. That's resonating in a lot of people's minds. But if they have their eyes set, like a lot of people had coming into preseason, for them to win the SEC, they can't afford to go 0-2 within conference and expect to contend at the end of the year. So they're playing at home. Their defense, to me, needs to show me something. They need to step it up.
Yeah, the defense has been exposed, not just A&M, but East Carolina too.
Dylan Thompson's been playing great for them at quarterback, though, so they're going to put up some points.
I mean, Georgia's offense, it's not just Gurley. They've got tons of weapons. So I'm with you. There's a good show me something. South Carolina's defense has to play a lot better. Play clock down to 5 on 3rd and 8 for Baylor. Petty complete, trying to pick his way forward, and he gets the first down. That's Lynx Hawthorne, the sophomore. Nice run after catch. And with that first down, just like the Bears like to do, they get lined up quickly and they're ready to go.
And with this type of lead, you've got to wonder how long Bryce Petty plays. You know, they need him to get his work, but nursing that back issue, you know, you're getting ready to go into the conference schedule. You wouldn't want to risk any sort of, fluke injury.
They do have a bye week coming up, and then they will get into conference play. Hawthorne had the ball go right through his hands.
That's the second time they've tried to throw that back shoulder fade, because Buffalo is respecting that deep ball so much. And this is intentionally underthrown to Lynx Hawthorne, and you got to make that catch.
Yeah. And maybe this is where we talk about Baylor's depth, and it's true, they've got incredible depth at that position, but they're missing Antoine Goodley, who may be the best wide receiver in college football, might be. Levi Norwood, who's not that far behind, and 2 other high-level players. Linwood makes 2 guys miss, but not a 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th. Good gang tackle by Buffalo.
Talk about a gang tackle. There were 9 Buffalo helmets at the football.
And Baylor is missing 4 of its top, would you say 5, 6 wide receivers? And maybe before the year started, you might say they're top 4, period. We're all not playing tonight. On 3rd down, Petty looking deep. He's going to throw deep. He's got his man caught and dropped. So that'll be an incompletion. Davion Hall, the true freshman, he had it and dropped it. And that's a little sloppiness that you don't usually see from the Baylor Bears.
No, another layup opportunity Bryce Petty bought some extra time. Davion Hall was able to get behind the defense. And that's 2 easy catches dropped for Baylor. Levi Norwood there with the visor.
Yeah, he's one of those injured wide receivers. He's a good special teams player too. Well, but Bryce Petty's getting some work in, so is the punter, Spencer Roth. He doesn't get to do this very often. So he punts one, and it's taken right around the 20. Buffalo will have the ball when we come back to UB Stadium. The Bears, 8th ranked team in the country, up 28-0.
ESPN College Football Primetime is brought to you by the Lexus GX. Dare to be spontaneous. And Cooper Tires. Life's a road trip. Come on, let's go.
All right, now how about this? I thought this was incredibly cool. Yesterday, we spent some time with a Buffalo student. His name is Deshaun Henry. He's a civil engineering major. He's just a sophomore. He spent the summer, that device that you just saw him demonstrating, he calls it a water lens. He invented it this summer. It's very inexpensive, made from basic materials. It can purify polluted drinking water very easily, very cheaply, and the folks here at Buffalo think that this sophomore has come up with something that has a chance to make a big impact in the developing world, and we were very happy that he shared that invention with us, showed us some of his work.
How cool is that?
On campus. We were impressed.
Yeah, I'm impressed. I was wondering what we were looking at, and I was like, man, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, you want to talk about show me something?
Yeah. That is.
Deshaun Henry, you did it. That's a pretty cool way to spend your summer. 28-0 Baylor.
All right, let's see if Buffalo can make this game interesting.
I mean, this is an offense. Buffalo thinks they have a good offense that can move the ball and put up points. Joe Licata under center. And a handoff with a Baylor defender right there in the background. There was just nowhere for Jordan Johnson to go. Byron Bonds, number 96, just a sophomore and a big kid.
Look, when you're Buffalo and you're a 35-point underdog, you don't have the opportunity to make many mistakes. You almost have to play a perfect game, and they had the drop touchdown pass from Marcus McGill. They've had a slew of penalties the last drive. They've just got to execute their offense. I think they've got to stop looking at the scoreboard and just try to build some positive plays one at a time.
2nd and 10, the fake handoff. Licata in the pocket, and now he's going to run. There's a flag thrown, and he goes into a slide to avoid a hit.
There's going to be a holding call, too.
Holding. Offense number 70. Half the distance to the goal. 2nd down.
That's John Kling, the big right tackle, who last year spent part of the time over on the left side. Now he's the right tackle. They like their offensive line, but a real challenge here tonight. Baylor's defensive line. You were mentioning how big of an improvement Baylor has made on defense in these last 5 years. It's what's taken this program to another level. Probably nowhere more evident than along the line.
Well, it was laughable, their defense, a few years ago. You remember the bowl game with RG3, and they had the shootout versus Washington, and it was just laughable. Now, they've brought in some playmakers. They're playing much better under defensive coordinator Phil Bennett. They've got an attitude now that they want to play on both sides of the ball.
Baylor is shifting, and they might have forced.
Ball start. Offense number 61. 5-yard penalty. 2nd down.
They did. Another Buffalo penalty. And Jeff Quinn, more than anything else, those kind of mistakes are going to make him unhappy.
They should. Remember I talked about if you're trying to pull off an upset or even just trying to execute some offense, you cannot make these types of penalties. That's what's frustrating. It's one thing to get beat at the line of scrimmage against better athletes, but to shoot yourselves in the foot like Buffalo has several times, that's what's got to be frustrating as a head coach.
So it's 2nd down. They need to get all the way to the 30. They're at the 4. Licata in the end zone is going to sprint right and throw on the move, and he hits his man for a short gain. It's John Dunmore with another catch. Did he get the foot down? Did he have control? I don't know. He definitely got the foot down, but
you got to give him that. You're down 28-0. You got to give him that.
I'm with you. No, I'm not arguing.
No, I think he had it though.
So it's 3rd and 16. Mercado going deep over the top, and it hits the helmet of the defensive back and ricochets to the ground, intended along the right sideline. That was, in fact, Avion Edwards. He can fly, the linebacker in coverage.
Avion Edwards looked like he didn't know where the ball was for a second. He was having a tough time spotting it, because if he did, he could have stopped and come back to it and caught it over the head of the defender, and then he just didn't have a chance to get that second effort.
Well, that was a pretty good example, and maybe that's what Coach Bennett's talking about, a chance to come up with a turnover with a little more awareness. I was impressed by just the pure speed. That's a linebacker. There's a punt, and it's going to be taken this time by Cal Spangler, who's tackled around the 40-yard line. Well, the Baylor offense gets the headlines. The defense pitching a shutout so far. 28-0 Bears.
ESPN is your home of the new college football playoff.
Dave Fleming, Danny Cannell, Allison Williams back here in Buffalo. How about the Baylor Bears? Up 28-0 in this one. Bryce Petty playing for the first time in a couple weeks with that back injury. Baylor has outscored their 3 opponents through 2 games and almost a half, 143-6. Their defense still has not given up a touchdown. The offense gets the ball back here. On the handoff, a short gain of 2 yards.
I like Baylor, but before I fall in love with them, I have to see them play somebody.
Yep. And that's the question hanging over this program, and it has for the last few years. And I think we saw the graphic about the new college football playoff. I think more than ever for this Baylor team, that is a question. Jay Lee with the catch, first down Bears. And we asked Art Briles point blank, with the new playoff system, is the scheduling going to change? Are you going to challenge your team a little bit more in the non-conference? And just as point blank as I asked it, he said no, we are not. Here's a throw down the field intended for Davion Hall, incomplete, second down.
I think it could hurt them down the road. I think the Big Ten's weakness right now is going to obviously help the Big 12. And if Baylor runs the table, they're in. There's no question about it. If they beat Oklahoma, that'll be a signature win from them. But moving down the road, I think the fact that they're not playing anybody tough out of conference, and that they don't have a championship game, that could hurt Baylor and other teams that aren't willing to step up and schedule non-conference games. Oklahoma, their credit to them, they're taking that step. They're playing Tennessee. I think Baylor's going to have to follow suit before it hurts them in the long run.
Johnny Jefferson with the carry. It's 3rd and 5. And Art Briles' point basically was, if we run the table, we're in. And that's our goal, to run the table.
And he's right about that this year.
This year he is right about that. Because the Big Ten,
what happened last weekend, definitely was an assist.
And I think because Oklahoma is such a powerful potential opponent.
As of now.
Baylor was.
They look that way now.
Yeah, they do.
But if things unfold, let's say Oklahoma gets beat by Tennessee, all of a sudden their schedule looks even weaker. I don't think that happens.
Well, Baylor's going to go for it on 4th and 2 here after the stop in the run game. We'll see if they just hand it off again. Johnny Jefferson. No, Petty's going to look to throw. And he will throw, and he's got his man caught. First down. This time, number 7, Lynx Hawthorne, held on. Now, they made that 4th down conversion look easy.
Well, they got wide receivers running with linebackers. That's Okezie Alozie. Number 3 was in defense. And he was there. He's tough.
Jefferson straight ahead, end zone touchdown. Spinning through a couple of tackles. Johnny Jefferson has his 2nd touchdown of the year. And it's 34-0. Baylor with the lead. So Jefferson, the redshirt freshman. And they've liked what they've seen from him. He's taken some carries from Shock Linwood these days. Now the Buffalo defense, they may already be worn down. It's only the 2nd quarter. Extra point up and good. So Baylor using the ground game. They went for it very confidently on 4th down. Bryce Petty looking extremely sharp. Now the Bears have almost 400 yards of offense already, up 35-0. Welcome back to ESPN College Football Primetime, presented by Jimmy John's. On a Friday night here in upstate New York, it has been all Bears over the Bulls. Bryce Petty has to be pleased. The back, I think it's fine. Bryce Petty, 14 of 20, 291 yards, a couple touchdowns. Baylor already has 392 yards of offense with 5:17 to go until halftime. And Buffalo, yeah, I mean, they may be overmatched here, but this is a MAC team. This is a team that's playing at home with a lot of fans, a lot of students. They are just getting bulldozed right now. That kick goes into the end zone for a touchback. Monday Night Football, a very good one this week. Two reigning division champs, LaShawn McCoy and the Eagles, on the road against Andrew Luck and the Colts. Monday Night Football, Eagles-Colts, 8:15 on ESPN. I like that game.
I love it. The Eagles avoided disaster week 1. Nick Foles started a little rough start, but got it going. Andrew Luck, one of the best young quarterbacks in the game. I love the way he plays.
How about that schedule? They have to start on the road against the Broncos, come back and feeling like, hey, we got to get a win at home against a powerful Eagles team.
Yeah, you do not want to start 0-2 in the NFL.
Tight end in motion on 1st and 10. Buffalo's offense just trying to get anything going. And it's been that hard. Not easy at all.
And now with that donut on the scoreboard, Baylor's defense, I'm very sure that they're very well aware of that, because that's got to be the goal now. You've got the game in hand now for them. That's sort of their incentive. We used to see that at Florida State. The defensive side of the ball, they would love that. They'd want to keep that going. Even if it was the second, third, fourth team in the game in the fourth quarter, they wanted that shutout.
Big number 2 on the sideline for now, Sean Oakman. And off straight ahead, and Taylor with the short gain. Buffalo doesn't even have 60 yards of total offense yet. And one thing that Phil Bennett, the defensive coordinator for Baylor, was telling us about these first few weeks, the twos, so to speak, the second string defensive team, they've gotten more snaps than the ones. And he pointed back to Bill Snyder. He said when he worked for Bill Snyder in the old days, that was one of Coach Snyder's goals in the first few games of the year. We got to get the second stringers ready to go, so in conference play they have some experience. But Baylor snipped that one out beautifully, and Anthony Taylor had nowhere to go. So the screen play on 3rd and long loses yardage. It's 4th down. They are flying around on defense.
And now they're starting to sense that Buffalo's got to start throwing the ball, so guys start thinking about the sacks they can get. And this is a team that sacked SMU's quarterbacks 9 times in their opener. They start thinking they can put some sharks in the water and they can smell blood.
Licking their chops. The 4th down, punting. That's the 4th 3-and-out already for Buffalo's offense. And a fair catch taken outside the 40. Well, Baylor knows something about good defense from their football past. How about one of the all-time greats, a Baylor Bear, Mike Singletary?
Oh, one of the most dominant college football players ever. Some of these hits, I love the throwback unis and the helmets. Here he is in pass coverage, walking around, covering the middle of that field as good as anyone.
He went from one Bears to another, and he made his name at the NFL level too. And this version of the Baylor Bears defense, they got several guys who are going to go play in the NFL. And that, you know, Art Briles, that is big for him. His idea, he's winning football games, but he's also developing players for the next level. Bryce Petty going deep, Cannon wide open. Cannon couldn't quite break the tackle, but he's all the way down to the 19-yard line. The true freshman, and yeah, he's going to play on Sundays too. KD Cannon with another huge game. Baylor rushes to the line. And before they got the playoff,
Baylor substituted. We didn't get the ball in time to stop the snap. 1st down Baylor.
So it's not a penalty, but the officials, because they made a substitution, they have to hold things. Baylor tried to get the snap off, so they're going to make them slow down for a moment. That was a 38-yard pass play to KD Cannon. So Buffalo has to be allowed to get a sub in. Petty, the play fake, rolling right, and he's going to lob one out of bounds. Just threw that one away.
And this will most likely be Bryce Petty's last opportunity to get some work. I would fully expect them to go to Seth Russell, who lit it up last week in Bryce Petty's absence. It was great talking to Art Briles. He said, you know what? Nobody likes seeing their backup come in and light it up, especially Bryce Petty. And Seth Russell, man, he was impressive.
I think Art's line was, yeah, I think Bryce probably turned over once or twice in his sleep after watching Seth Russell play the way he did. The backup for Baylor leads the country in total quarterback rating. So the second stringer behind the Heisman candidate has the #1 quarterback rating in all of college football. Bryce Petty is not happy with himself after that play. But the back injury, which very obviously was limiting him after he got hurt early in that SMU game, the opener, he looks just free and easy tonight. Another whistle. And I think Buffalo.
Third and final timeout of the half. Baylor. This will be a 1-minute timeout.
So the timeout. There's Seth Russell. Will we see him? We'll find out in the second half. Now Bryce Petty, healthy. Is he healthy? He looks so.
He looks fine. He's been spreading the ball over the field. He's been moving around the pocket pretty nice. Hitting on the big pass right there to Katie Cannon. Another one to Jay Lee down the sideline. His touch pass is definitely there. And basically what this turned into Bryce Petty is a stat game, which, as much as you don't like to talk about it, it's what you need to win the Heisman Trophy. And he's playing from behind because he missed important time. So it's critical that he gets some stats, that he can be up there when you look at the end of the season and look at the total numbers. You have to put up big numbers.
Is it the #1 goal for Baylor? No. But if Petty's going to be a true candidate, they don't get the championship game, so he loses a chance to play an extra game in the Big 12 before Heisman voting finishes up. He basically played just the half in the opener, missed game 2. So I think you're right. Pressure coming, throws it toward the end zone, and it is incomplete, out of bounds. Lynx Hawthorne came up with the ball. Petty was pressured and actually made a beautiful throw.
Nope, clearly out of bounds. The one-handed grab, but that left foot was not in bounds. And Bryce Petty took a little shot on that one right after he let go of it.
So this would be a field goal try for a Baylor team that has not been good on field goal attempts this year. There's the flaw. We found their flaw. Chris Callahan from 36 yards out. The kick is up, and it is no good. They missed it right, and he's 1 for 5 attempting field goals here in the early season.
And that's something Baylor's going to have to figure out, you know, before they get into conference play, because you know, they play a tough game. They're going to need somebody down the wire who can come through, and I'm sure that's what Art Briles is saying. We need to use this as a confidence builder. You don't want to have kicking issues in these types of games.
Well, he's not happy. And no. Chris Callahan, this is his first year as the kicker for the Bears. He is a walk-on from Houston, and look, 1 for 5. That one right down the middle. They centered the ball for him on the artificial surface with no wind from 36 yards. I mean, it doesn't get a whole lot more simple than that. And that's a problem. You're up 35-0. There are not a lot of problems, but that is one. Okada completes for a short gain to Devin Hughes. Buffalo, will they use a little 2-minute drill? Their offense has just not gotten anything going.
They need to for practice alone. At some point you're going to need to run the 2-minute drill when it really matters, so why not run it now?
Okada with all kinds of time dumps it short, and it's complete for a first down. That's Jordan Johnson, the running back. The clock will stop as they set the ball, and now we'll start again. 10-yard gain, 1st and 10, Buffalo. Okada 8 completions, only 57 yards though. More good protection. Steps up and throws, and on the crossing route hits his receiver. That's Hughes again.
The count is back, complete to Hughes.
Clock continues to roll. 8-yard gain. That's sort of what Danny was talking about. The Baylor defense, that's the carrot for them tonight. They still have not allowed a touchdown all year long. This is their 3rd game. Not a lot of hurry up here for Buffalo. Pressure comes. Licata steps up nicely and delivers a strike. And incomplete. Not handled by the tight end Weiser. That throw was right there.
Yeah, Joe Licata was starting to feel it a little bit, moving around in the pocket. Just look at the tight end, Matt Weiser. The double clutch, and clearly that ball spits out of there.
2 big drops in this first half for Buffalo. Would it have mattered in the big picture in terms of the outcome? Maybe not. But it was 7-0 Baylor. Buffalo called a great play, had a wide open receiver for a touchdown. Ball in hand, dropped. And it has been downhill since. Flags thrown. Another false start. So we'll wait for the official call. Get rid of that ball.
Prior to the snap, false start. Offense number 25. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
How about another check in the studio with Chris Cotter? Chris?
All right, David, just a little over a minute's time at the half. Mark May and Coach Holtz will join me. We'll talk about Georgia and South Carolina, do a little X's and O's, report on a key member of the Buckeyes defensive front suspended again, and picks not only from May and Coach Holtz, but from Phil Steele as well. It's coming up at the half.
What a nightmare for Ohio State at the start of the year. Between the Braxton Miller injury, the loss at home to Virginia Tech, now Noah Spence is suspended. That ball tipped up and intercepted. No. It was in the hands of the safety Terrell Burt, and then he got popped and the ball came loose. Well, he got some pushing and shoving after the play. I mean, Burt had it, but he just got drilled, and that saved the interception. But it is 4th down, and Buffalo even down 35 points, not going for it.
Well, Terrell Burt, wish he could have hung on to that one. If you're going to take a hit like that, it actually hit the Baylor defensive lineman in the helmet, popped right up. That's your offensive lineman preventing the interception there.
It might have been Andre Davis who got the lick in. An angled punt here. Very worried about the special teams for Baylor. The bounce and a quick hit. I think that was Cal Spangler saving some yardage. Baylor still got 50 seconds to go on offense. That's plenty of time for them. Show me something. How about Tennessee's offensive line? You like that one?
I totally agree with this one. They do need to step it up. I mean, they had to replace an entire offensive and defensive line. And they are talented. It's a tough environment. They're going to be playing. It's Jordan Phillips, one of the best defensive tackles in all of college football, who's an absolute stud for Oklahoma.
Each Friday, Danny is going to come up with a player or a team or a unit or a coach and ask that player to show me something on Saturday. And you can give us your thoughts too. Hashtag show me something. Jock Linwood. And I think the tweet there was right. Tennessee's got a lot of young talent on that team. So they will be severely tested for so many of those players. First game ever on the road away from home in their college careers. Not easy against a powerful team, but the talent is there. Another carry. Baylor may be content with 35-0.
Tennessee's a year away to watch out next year because they'll be a definite contender in the SEC. They get a little bit of experience under their belt. They start to grow some confidence. Butch Jones will get them buying in. They already are buying in. They just need playing time.
Baylor, 8th-ranked team in the country, 35-point favorites. And, yeah, they lead by 35 as we go to the locker room. Their head coach down with Allison Williams.
Coach, your defense takes the shutout into the half. What have they done tonight that's continued the dominance they've shown to start the season?
Got good pressure, stop the run, put them in predictable situations, play with a lot of intensity.
Between the big lead and the back, how much more Bryce Petty will we see?
We don't feel like we got a big lead. You know, we feel like we're still trying to work. We had 2 possessions there. We messed up. We got to score every time we get the football.
Okay, thank you.
Not comfortable up 35-0. Okay, Art. Halftime here from Buffalo. It's time for our halftime report.
Halftime report, Chris Cotter along with Mark May, Coach Holtz, and the story of this game can basically be summed up in 2 consecutive first-quarter plays here. First of all, Buffalo.
Wow.
At home, heavy underdog. Licata can't hook up with McGill. All right, so a punt and a running play later, and here's Baylor. Bryce Petty, hurt back and all, just lobs it up top, and Katie Cannon, the sprinter, catches it in stride. He's gone. Baylor was off and running at that point, up 14-0, and they've got a big lead at the half. So Baylor now, it's SMU, it's Northwestern State, it's Buffalo. They're running roughshod on all these little sisters here. But how good can they be when the competition starts getting tough?
They could be awesome, possibly more explosive and better than last year on offense. When you look at Bryce Petty, you look at his wide receivers and Katie Cannon, and you look at Davion Hall, he's got two freshmen that are magnificent, that can stretch the field, that are fast, that have great hands. I think when you look at this offense, they're going to be tough to stop by no matter whoever they play down the road, even Oklahoma to Oklahoma.
I think this is a better Baylor team than last year because I think their defense is much, much better, particularly their front four. The one concern I would have about Baylor is their inability to run the ball on a consistent basis. I don't see anybody in the Big 12 really testing them with the exception of Oklahoma. They have to travel to Norman, and this is a very fine Oklahoma football team, but make no mistake about it. Baylor is very capable of going undefeated.
We certainly saw from Art Briles at the beginning of this game, he was trying to establish that run. You know, as Bryce Petty's hurt, he wants to run.
He didn't do it as well as he should have the first half.
So that's something he obviously has said he's not very happy with coming into this game and he wants to work on. You look at the schedule, though, Coach. I mean, where do you see the losses coming from here? Texas is struggling right now. TCU, they get TCU at home. You got to travel to West Virginia. That might be a little bit of a pitfall, though.
Well, I tell you, TCU, you know, every game can be possible to have a difficulty. Kansas State, etc. You got to play. You have a different team each and every week, but this is a very talented team.
It comes down to November 8th at Oklahoma.
We shall see. Baylor right now, though, firing on all guns. We've got some NFL news to tell you about, and it still is not good as you.
Welcome back to ESPN College Football Primetime, presented by Jimmy John's. Friday night fireworks shown during halftime here in Buffalo. All Baylor in the first half. 35-0 the lead for the 8th ranked Bears as we get ready for the start of the third quarter here from UB Stadium in Buffalo. Dave Fleming, Danny Cannell, Allison Williams back with you. And so Baylor on the road for the first time all year. Very impressive on offense as we expected, but also on defense. Buffalo's offense has been potent in the first 2 weeks and almost nothing. They will get the ball to start the second half. And across the 20, 25, and a good return outside the 30 by Devin Campbell. Well, Danny, we heard from Art Briles. He talked to Allison Williams before halftime, and he didn't sound all that happy. They're up 35-0. What can they do better?
It's a mental game for coaches. I mean, they're trying to keep their team motivated, to try to keep them to keep, wanting to improve, to go out there and still execute the offense. It'll be interesting to me to see if Bryce Petty continues to play the second half. I think he gets one series. If they go out there and execute it, I think he should be done, because why risk your franchise, basically, is what Bryce Petty is. Why risk that? Make sure he gets off the field. He's already nursing the back.
A deep chance, and dropped again. Devin Hughes this time had it right in his hands. And if you're coming up with a story of the game for Buffalo, number one, the challenge of facing Baylor. Number two, this.
Missed opportunities. Earlier it was Marcus McGill. Now it's Devin Hughes. I mean, those are definitely balls. And Joe Licata, to his credit, he's dropped him right in perfectly. They just have not made the play.
Well, you got to catch those. And that one, the first one, which came very early in the game, would have easily been a touchdown. This one probably wasn't going to be a touchdown.
Still a big play, chunk play.
But a huge play. Opportunity lost. 2nd and 10. And a short throw to the tight end. There is a flag, and I think a late hit on the quarterback. Matt Weiser made the catch. We'll see what the penalty is.
Personal foul, roughing the passer, defense number 75. 15-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
Now that's a little over-aggression from big Andrew Billings.
Here's Billings, number 75, right in the middle of your screen. split second late.
Yeah,
and it really was just unnecessary.
I think he had time to stop, not do it. Total yardage, yeah, it's been a mismatch, 432 to 85. But those two big plays that Buffalo has had and not taken advantage of would make those numbers look a little bit more respectable. So inside Baylor territory on first down, the handoff, and nothing there. Billings makes the tackle. Let's go down to Allison Williams.
Well, guys, Art Briles insisted that Bryce Petty will be back out in the second half despite the big lead. He did give some rest, though, to some of his defensive guys in that first half with the lead they had. Sean Oakman, that big defensive end, was one of them. He sat for several plays. He told me, oh, I'm good. We just got some of the young pups out there doing their work. He's back out on the field to start the second half. Make sure he came out early, got on that bike, and got warmed up to go, though, guys.
Thank you, Allison. He also, Danny, you noticed he made a little wardrobe change.
Yeah, he went with some sleeves, covered up a little bit.
It's cool. I mean, fall is here. It does not feel like summertime here in Buffalo.
I even talked to some locals here, though, and they thought it was chilly. They thought it was a little bit early for this cold weather to come through.
Temperature is going to be in the 40s by the end of the night. So for the Texas boys, they left 100 degrees in Waco. This counts as cold. 59 degrees at the moment. There is number 2, Sean Oakman. Third down here. And about 8 to go. Licata in the pocket, trying deep again, and it is knocked away, incomplete. Looking for Ron Willoughby. Xavier Howard got a hand on the ball.
I give Buffalo credit for taking some shots. They should have been doing this all game. Pretty good defense there by Xavier Howard right there. I mean, he's running stride for stride perfectly. Knocks it out with that offhand. Doesn't make major contact with the receiver. It's pretty good coverage.
They think he could be an NFL player, Xavier Howard. Why are they punting, by the way? They're in Baylor territory, down 35-0. But they are going to punt the ball. That one's going to bounce and kick into the end zone. So it's a touchback. We get a chance to remind you, Monday Night Football this week with a heck of a matchup. 2 division champs meet in week 2. LaShawn McCoy and the Eagles, Andrew Luck and the Colts in Indianapolis. Monday Night Football, Eagles-Colts, 8:15 on ESPN. Andrew Luck so far this year, that one game on the road, hostile environment in Denver, he was impressive. 370 yards, the 2 touchdowns, one of them at least was on his receiver. Had a ball go right through hands into an interception. And Andrew Luck, he almost pulled off the comeback against Peyton Manning and the Broncos. That's Monday Night Football. Shock Linwood, the ball carrier on first down. And Bryce Petty is still in the game for Baylor.
Baylor, to me, will try to work on some things. They'll try to work on the ground game this drive, try to establish the line of scrimmage, get this first team unit with Bryce Petty some work, try to establish a long drive. And then, to me, they should be done. We'll see what Art Briles thinks, though.
Coach Briles, as he pointed out, there were 2 whole possessions where they didn't score points. Petty, kind of a jump ball, knocked away, incomplete, intended for Jay Lee. It's 3rd and 8.
And that wasn't a designed deep ball. That was Bryce Petty basically turning into playground football and taking a shot down the field. And as every receiver will always tell you with that hand waving, I'm open, but that was pretty good coverage by Buffalo.
I'm wide open other than this guy standing right on top of me. 3rd and 8. If you thought Coach Briles was salty before halftime, if they go 3 and out on their first possession, we'll see. The pass is almost intercepted. Incomplete, intended for K.D. Cannon. Welly Striggles knocks it down, and Buffalo forces the punt.
Striggles, a couple nice plays in the secondary for Buffalo. He was the man in coverage the last time, and then watch this pass break up. He's getting some work. One more look, jumping right in front of the pass.
So it's 4th down. Bryce Petty, 0 for his last 5 going back to the end of the second quarter. That's a slump. Marcus McGill He's going to let it bounce. It'll be down there by Baylor. So Buffalo gets the ball when we come back. Baylor hoping that this is a playoff kind of season. We'll talk about the college football playoffs after this.
ESPN is your home of the new college football playoff.
Chris Cotter back in our studios in Bristol over on ESPN2 right now. You can see it on the right. Phoenix and Chicago, Game 3 of the WNBA Finals, all tied at 82. 29 seconds left to go. If Phoenix wins, and they would do it without Brittany Griner, she's sitting with an eye injury in this game, they would win the WNBA title. If Chicago wins, they extend it. It's best of 5, and Phoenix is already up right now by a 2-games-to-love series score. So over on ESPN2, the conclusion of this game, but we'll send it back to Buffalo for now, guys.
So it's a little tighter there than here. It's 35-0 Baylor, but Buffalo forced to punt, which is rare for the Bears. And they get good field position. A handoff on first down, and the pursuit by Oakman. Jordan Johnson, and nowhere to go. Buffalo has missed opportunities on offense.
Yeah, you can't blame Joe Licata, their quarterback. He's put the ball on the money. That was Marcus McGill down the sideline. Another shot. Ron Willoughby had one go through his hands right there. And just, you know, if you're a 35-point underdog and you want to pull off the upset, you have to make those types of plays.
And I think Jeff Quinn and Buffalo, they were confident they were going to put points on the board in this game coming in. And they knew what a challenge it would be to stop the Baylor offense. But Buffalo thinks they've got a potent offense. That's a nice hole for Jordan Johnson. Tripped up before he could get to the first down mark, but across the 45, not around the 47.
Well, I think Buffalo looked at last year's game and said, hey, we were right there in the first, second quarter, and then it got out of hand late, but they were able to move the ball. Hit a flea flicker on the first play of the game for a 60-yard guy and went up 7-0.
But part of the challenge facing this Baylor defense, replacing 7 starters from last year. But I think some of the guys who are starting now might be better than the players they've replaced, and that includes number 2, Sean Oakman. He did not start last year. That might have been an offsides. Could be a free play. It's a handoff, and Jordan Johnson shoved out of bounds. Maybe just a little bit short of that first down mark, but I think this Baylor's penalty is going to go against Baylor.
Yeah, I think Javonte McGee right there, number 90.
Offside. Defense number 90. Result after enforcement of the 5-yard penalty. It's a first down.
So they will take the penalty and the first down. Buffalo into Baylor territory now. We're seeing those starters on defense. You heard Allison say that, where a lot of the second stringers got to play in the first half, but the starters are back on the field for Baylor. About 4 minutes into the third quarter. Licata, delayed handoff. Oakman missed the tackle. Jordan Johnson trying to bounce it outside. Got stopped cold at the line of scrimmage. It's hard to overstate how physically imposing that kid is when you stand next to him. 6'9", 280 from the Pittsburgh area. And the defensive coordinator, Phil Bennett, was at Pitt and was recruiting Sean Oakman in high school. Oakman went to Penn State, was transferred to Baylor. Now he's one of their stars. Across the middle, the catch made by Devin Hughes. Stopped short of the first down. But another impact transfer. Baylor's had a lot of them lately. From Penn State to Waco, Sean Oakman, he might be the breakout defensive star in the Big 12 this year.
6'9", 280, and put the shoulder pads and the helmet on him, and he's just a beast coming off the edge.
You wonder if this is now 4-down territory for Buffalo. On third down, pressure coming, and hit as he throws. Licata could not get it out. He got crunched.
He's slow getting up here too. Excuse me, not Joe Licata, one of his backs.
Yeah, Devin Campbell trying to hang in there and block for him.
And that Devin Campbell was a slot receiver last year. They moved him in the backfield. And he just got run over right there. Hopefully he's okay.
So Campbell is down. They'll hope to get him ready to go, and we'll come back right after this. So they're checking on Devin Campbell. He is on the sidelines. Looks to be okay. Hurt on that last third down play. 35-0 Baylor over Buffalo. Dave Fleming, Danny Cannell, Allison Williams from UB Stadium. It is 4th down, and the Bulls, rightfully so, are going for it.
Why not, right?
Have to. Joe Licata got set, and now he'll check to the sideline. On 4th and 4, and Baylor crowds the line of scrimmage. Now Licata with 10 on the play clock. Maybe made another adjustment. And the quick hitter, penalty flag thrown, and out into the open field. Devin Hughes to the end zone, touchdown. And we'll see if the play stands. There was a penalty thrown. If it stands, that's the first touchdown Baylor has allowed on defense all year, but Joe Licata doesn't look happy. And neither does Jeff Quinn.
He had a great play call there, too. A little slip screen.
There is no foul for illegal hands. Result of the play is a touchdown.
How about it? So that is the first touchdown of the night for Buffalo, and it's the first touchdown Baylor has allowed all season. 41 yards. And Coach Bennett not happy about it. It's hard to go a whole year without allowing a touchdown, so it was bound to happen at some point.
Right.
But on 4th down, a big play through the air. Devin Hughes is having a nice game. 72 yards in that touchdown. So Buffalo trying to make this second half a little more interesting. Extra point up and good from Patrick Clark.
The extra point is good, and the score.
It's 35-7. Baylor ahead.
Buffalo looking for the epic comeback. Can they do it? They got a long way to go, but at least they started somewhere.
ESPN College Football Primetime is brought to you by Voya Financial, changing the way you think of retirement, and Dish. Watch all your live sports wherever you are. No extra charge with Dish. Hopper hooks you up.
And I did not participate in this particular activity. Aerial dancing, a program at Buffalo's College of Arts and Sciences. Sort of the backbone of the Cirque du Soleil program worldwide. They're athletes.
Without question. I would have liked to give it a try.
Oh, you would have?
I might have hurt myself, though.
I know I would have hurt myself. 35-7. So Buffalo, with so many missed opportunities, drops a chance for big plays in the pass game. They go for it on 4th down, and they get a touchdown from Joe Licata to the receiver Devin Hughes, who's having a big game.
And Art Briles, we heard the frustration going into the locker room at halftime, and I kind of thought, well, what's he frustrated about? Now it makes a little bit more sense because their offense hit a wall. You know they got a tongue lashing at halftime to try to spark them, say, hey, let's keep this going. But they didn't look impressive on that first drive out either, so it's an important drive for this first team unit for Baylor.
3 and out, and then giving up a touchdown. Disaster for Baylor. Another big guy rumbling with the return. Baylor takes over. Chris Cotter in the studio. Chris?
Dave, time for the Dr. Pepper Conference update over on ESPNU. Cincinnati looking like a real favorite in the American. Gunnar Kiel, his 5th touchdown pass of the night, finding Alex Chisholm here. 51-34, Cincy on top. Now back to Dave Fleming and our aspiring aerial dancer, Danny Cannell.
That is a stretch.
Well, I know Chris Cotter would just be a natural at that. So
really?
Yeah, he would.
I think of power with Chris. I don't know about the grace.
That's right. Cincinnati was up 41-7. Toledo started battling back to make it interesting.
You know, another thing that I bet Art Brown's not going to be thrilled about, they got a few touchdowns on the ground, but Shock Linwood has not had a lot of room to run, and they have 110 yards rushing, not awful, but the standards are high. The running game has not been explosive. 2nd and 7. Petty, middle, and And a nice catch in traffic. K.D. Cannon, the true freshman, hangs on. Another big gain for Baylor's newest big play receiver.
That was a tight window, too. Bryce Petty dropped it in, and credit to K.D. Cannon, hung on through the hit.
18 yards. Now the quick hitter out on the left side to Jay Lee, right near that first down mark. And they will spot him forward for a first down. So here come the Bears.
I think Baylor, they want to run the football, but they're not going to try to run it when the numbers aren't there. And Buffalo has pretty much given them the short passing game on the outside.
Linwood dragged down from behind.
And they've stacked the bodies in the box. That's why Baylor is struggling to run the football.
And Bryce Petty, I mean, it was perfect at the start. And the numbers 8 for 19, I don't think that totally reflects.
A couple
drops that had a chance to be big plays. But it hasn't been as smooth overall. Gets that one quickly, and the turn upfield by Lynx Hawthorne. Pushed out of bounds short of the first down. The third and short coming up for Baylor.
And they could take these passes all day long if they want them, Baylor. Buffalo is basically giving the outside passes. Now they're making an adjustment, but for the most part, they've given the leeway on the outside here in third and short. They won't.
Linwood with the carry and has to fight his way forward. He got there, but not by much. First down, Baylor. On the move this time after the 3 and out to start the second half. Petty, middle, caught, touchdown. Lynx Hawthorne, the sophomore, into the end zone. And maybe that'll be the exclamation point for Bryce Petty. We'll see. But back from injury tonight. 18 yards, his third touchdown pass.
And why run it when it's that easy to pass it? See Lynx Hawthorne in the slot, just going to run an in cut right over the middle. And Bryce Petty, I think he's fired up. He wanted to get this offense back on track.
See there? Yeah, we can do it. Kick up and good. 42-7. Baylor has the lead. 7:46 to go. There's that quick strike Baylor offense. Well, I think, you know, Danny, we've been talking all night about your new thing here on Friday night. Show me something. And mostly we've been focused on games that'll come up on Saturday, talking about players, teams who need to show us something on Saturday. Big games across college football. I do think that Bryce Petty has shown us a lot here tonight because he's got 2 cracked bones in his back. And, you know, no matter what they say about it's just pain management, that hurts, and he's played well.
Excuse me, he really has. He's come out, put the back injury beside him. A lot of times it's mental that he has to deal with. And for him to go out there and look completely comfortable, we saw it in warm-ups. He looked good. But it's one thing to go out there, take a hit, take a lick, and keep on going. Excuse me. We've been talking so much about Bryce Petty.
Well, you got all emotional about it. Bryce Petty, he is an emotional leader and a guy who I think they lean on hard. And it's such an interesting story because Bryce Petty was a high school recruit of Philip Fulmer at Tennessee. I mean, a long, long time ago. And he waited 5 years, basically, to get a chance to play and had that huge year last year. Kick return. Buffalo gets the ball back once again. In studio, Chris Cotter.
All right, thank you much. We were showing highlights at the end of this WNBA Finals Game 3. Diana Taurasi. And won, and that was enough to put Phoenix on top. Even without Brittany Griner, they win the title. WNBA champs, Phoenix Mercury, guys.
All right, congratulations to Phoenix. A championship. That's what Baylor's hoping for. And the question is, really, can they run the table? Because I think they're going to have to in this new playoff format. How about a flea flicker? Nakata looking downfield, a lob into double coverage, and it was caught. Do they give credit to Willoughby? Yeah, they do.
Nakata dropped the rainbow into Willoughby. This ball was sky high in the air, dropped it right in the bucket. The coverage is there, and Willoughby just holds on to it. Gets his elbows down, and he had control the whole time.
And he did have it in Buffalo. Not going to risk a review. They get to the line quickly, run a play, and now breaking free. Anthony Taylor breaking tackles, end zone touchdown. How about the Bulls showing a little something on offense? That is 2 touchdowns in a row. This one 41 yards.
Anthony Taylor just kept his pads low. You thought it was going to be about a 1 or 2 yard gain. Then he just squirted out of the pack.
Well, a heck of an effort. The Baylor's defense, if you go back to the Fiesta Bowl, the end of the Fiesta Bowl last year, their last game, kick up and good. The first 2 games plus the first half of this one this season, over 165 football minutes without allowing a touchdown. They've allowed 2 in just a couple of minutes now.
You just have to finish the tackle. But to Anthony Taylor's credit, kept his legs driving, moving forward. Credit to Buffalo, too, for not hanging it up. They could have easily quit. Figured, hey, we're 35-0. We have no chance. But they have just kept battling.
Well, this is a little more of the type of game that I think everybody expected. The experts put the overall number at 70 on this game, and maybe some people thinking, well, that's going to be all Baylor. Well, however you figured the teams would get to it, the game kind of slogged down for a while, but we may be churning towards that number. Buffalo's starting to do their part on offense, and they think they have a good offense this year. They think they're going to be one of the most explosive offenses in the MAC. They may have the best quarterback in the MAC.
You think Phil Bennett's a little upset at his defense right now for giving up back-to-back scoring touchdowns?
So that's a pretty intense meeting for a team that's up 42-14 halfway through the third quarter. Just a squib along the ground and taken at around the 20-yard line and picking forward across the 30. A flag down on the field. We'll wait to see what the penalty call is.
Offside. Kicking team number 39. 5-yard penalty will be added at the end of the run. First down.
So at the end of the run, that penalty will be added on, and we'll check in once again with Allison Williams.
You guys mentioned how Buffalo is continuing to fight. I have to admit, I like their demeanor on the sideline. Throughout the night, it's been very consistent. Regardless of the score, they've maintained a pretty even keel. I've never seen them get too high or too low. There was always kind of this sense of, look, let's just leave it all out there. We got nothing to lose. And after scoring a couple touchdowns here, it's good to see these guys having some fun, smiling, joking, a little looser than they were in the first half. But throughout the game, guys, they've maintained a nice, consistent demeanor on the sidelines.
All right, Allison, thanks. And you know what? Look, it might be crazy talk, but you do start to think, what if a couple of those big pass plays had been executed? I don't know. There'd be a little more drama about the outcome if Buffalo had hung on to 2 of those long pass plays. That one's complete to Jay Lee, and Bryce Petty's still in the game.
I totally agree with you. That, especially the first one, the first third down of the game, dialed up a double move on the outside, and that was the one that they missed. It kind of set the tone. It just sets you back.
Linwood straight ahead. He breaks tackles and out into the open. Shot. Linwood finally shoved out of bounds across the 35 down to the 32-yard line. So 22-yard carry, and Baylor will hustle to get to the line. Petty fakes the handoff. Hits that receiver again, Jay Lee, who slipped as he tried to cut it upfield and tackled just short of the first down. Second and 1 for the Baylor offense. Once again, deep in Buffalo territory. Linwood bouncing it right, cutting it middle, first down. Petty on first down. And the fake handoff. Hawthorne, the quick catch, but the immediate hit and tackle. And I think you have thought that kid, Dwelly Striggles, has played well.
He has. That one fighting through a receiver, trying to block him downfield, and he's made a couple nice pass breakups as well.
3-yard gain, 2nd and 7. The two really talented true freshmen, Cannon on the inside and Hall on the outside, both on the right side of this formation. Petty looking left, though, with a little pump fake, and then he hits Lee, who dives for the pylon, and it's a touchdown. He got there. There's your answer for the Bears. 14 yards to Jay Lee.
It's been that kind of night. This is just so easy for Bryce Petty, and then Jay Lee, feet in bounds, leaps for the end zone. Inside the pylon, that's a touchdown all the way.
Yep. So Lee has his 2nd touchdown catch of the night. Bryce Petty's got his 4th touchdown throw. Extra point coming, and it is perfect. 49-14 to score. Now we're still sort of wondering if that's it for Bryce Petty, but Baylor has been content to leave him in the game, and he has marched Baylor up and down the field 2 times in a row very, very quickly. ESPN brings you college football primetime, presented by Hampton Hotels. 9th-ranked USC on the road to take on Steve Adazio's Boston College Eagles. That's Saturday, 8 Eastern on ESPN.
If you're USC, you got to make sure you don't fall into that trap. Coming off a big win on the road at Stanford, feeling good about yourselves, going all the way across country against a BC team who's going to want to rebound after a tough loss against Pitt. But you got to make sure you go out there and you don't start looking ahead or take anybody too lightly.
So that matchup, we're looking forward to that tomorrow. Allison Williams, you have anything more on that BC-USC game?
Yeah, Dave, Danny just mentioned USC having to make that long trip across country. Well, they actually arrived early, coming in Thursday afternoon to try and adjust to that 3-hour time difference.
And it is a night game. That should make it easier for the Trojans. Sometimes those West Coast teams, they go east and then play at noon Eastern, and that can be a little more difficult. That kick went out of bounds. So that will give Buffalo the excellent field position on the penalty.
Free kick out of bounds. Kicking team. Buffalo put the ball at the 35-yard line.
No, he's not kidding, Art. He kicked it out of bounds.
And this is another point of frustration for Art Briles. Struggled the field goals. Now you're having Kyle Peterson kick it out of bounds on the kickoff.
Now the early games tomorrow, Boise State a long way from home, and that's sort of the game that I'm talking about, the type of game where a team comes from Idaho and then the noon Eastern kickoff on the road. Might not matter, there's a big talent difference between the Broncos and the Huskies, but still. Licata held onto the ball. He was trying to get rid of it, and he is sacked.
Joe Licata's been knocked around a little bit tonight. Bo Blackshear on that one on the pressure, and I don't think Joe Licata's mom's going to have to cook any pasta dinners this week.
No pasta from mom. That's the tradition. If Buffalo wins and Licata doesn't get sacked, the whole offensive line goes over to his house, which is, what, 5 minutes from here? And mom cooks a big pasta dinner for everybody. She could save the sauce for next time. Handoff and nowhere to go. Anthony Taylor. It'll be 3rd down and long. So with 4:17 to go here in the third quarter, and Baylor's offense has they had that 3 and out to start the second half, but since then 2 real quick touchdown drives. Buffalo 2 touchdown drives in a row. So the points are coming fast and furious now. Licata in the pocket, throws, and it's caught. Breaking tackles, 1st down. Matt Weiser, the tight end. And we're starting to get closer to that number of 70 we were talking about. They expected this to be a very high-scoring game. We got a long way to go. And after some quiet moments in the middle part of the game, we may well get there.
There's a lot of time left, and the way Baylor's moving the ball, and now Buffalo is starting to.
So somebody's very interested in the last quarter plus. Handoff. And Jordan Johnson over the right side for a nice gain. Buffalo's moving the ball now.
Yeah. A lot of people watching the line, too. 35-point favorite, Baylor was. Buffalo all of a sudden woke up here in the second half. They've come. Their offense has started to have a little bit of success. They're playing with more confidence, starting to move the ball. I mean, we were talking about Baylor forcing 3 and outs. They haven't had one in a while.
So if 35 is the number, we got a lot of drama still in this game. Over the right side, and a first down for Jordan Johnson. Stayed in bounds along the sideline to get to that first down mark. 6-yard carry. It just looks like a much more confident Buffalo offense.
And that's what you referenced it, Dave, about what would have happened if they would have hit that touchdown the first drive of the game, and they could have matched score for score, 7-7. What would it look like the game unfolded from there?
Licata, handoff. A little spin move through a tackle for Johnson again. A lot of local kids on this Buffalo roster. He's another one from Amherst, the town basically we're in Amherst right now. They play good high school football up here. Everybody excited about the news this week in town that the Bills are going to be sold to a local owner who will definitely keep the team here in Buffalo. Johnson, tough power running, dragged down just short of the first down. And I think the compliment to the NFL team with a proud history would be a college program here in town with some sustained success, and that's what Buffalo is trying to accomplish. 3rd and 1. Almost a pistol type formation with Johnson behind Licata. They'll give it to him. And Johnson trying to get there. He could not. He lost a yard and a half to set up 4th down, and you would assume that Buffalo is going to go for it. So again, a long way to go in this game, but if you're thinking about how the experts thought this one was going to go, this is a big play. 49-14, under a minute to go in the 3rd quarter. 2 drives ago, the 4th down conversion got the first touchdown for Buffalo. Licata, look at the pass going deep, and it's incomplete. Oh, he threw it out of bounds.
Yeah, especially if you're at 4th down, what's the worst case? You know, even if you throw an interception, it's not the end of the world. You've got to give your receiver a chance to make a play.
Well, I don't know if Licata checked into that play or what, but Jeff Quinn's not happy about it. You have to at least give your guy a chance to make a play. Anyway, big news here for Baylor. Seth Russell, the backup, will come in and take his first series. So Bryce Petty is probably done. 416 yards, 4 touchdowns. He earned the rest of the night off. Now there's number 14. Not a whole lot of drop-off, though, in terms of the talent level. They love Seth Russell.
No, he had such an impressive outing last week against Northwestern State.
He was the Big 12 Offensive Player of the Week. Handoff right side running and dragged down the ball carrier Johnny Jefferson. So Russell takes over, the sophomore from Garland, Texas. And there is Bryce Petty and his final numbers.
Those are Heisman-like numbers.
Well, that's the idea. They believe he is a strong candidate, but he missed week 2, missed half of week 1. So
he's going to be playing catch-up a lot of the year as far as the numbers game goes, which I don't like. You know, I think the games that matter, you know, how does he play in those big games?
So the final seconds tick off the clock, and We'll go to quarter number 4 when we come back to Buffalo. 49-14. A fall-like night here in upstate New York, looking toward downtown Buffalo. Baylor on the road, a long way from home, leading 49-14 as we start quarter number 4. And the backup Seth Russell in on 2nd and 7. The handoff and out into the open. A nice run to midfield by Johnny Jefferson, redshirt freshman, getting a lot of carries again tonight.
Don't expect much drop-off with this backup unit in. They've been getting a lot of time in these 3 first cupcake games for Baylor, and they're just as efficient.
Jefferson gets the handoff again down to the 45 of Buffalo. So he got 4 yards on first down. Bryce Petty out of the game, but still very much into the game. Seth Russell, who threw for over 400 yards last week as the starter. A pump fake, and then he threw it too high, intended for K.D. Cannon.
Just a little bit of hesitation there from Seth Russell. I mean, it's a cool night. It's hard to get warmed up. He was running around the track a little bit trying to get those legs loose, but really it's until you really get warm and get in the flow of the game, it just takes a little bit.
So 3rd and 6. And Baylor does this. Buffalo does this a lot. Baylor doesn't do it quite as much, where they get set, get to the line, and then check to the sideline for either the call or an adjustment to the original call. And Russell keeps it, trying to go straight ahead. He spun forward to get an extra yard, but he's still a yard short. What do you think about Seth Russell's athleticism, mobility? Can he be that kind of quarterback?
Without question. And you don't have to be an exceptional runner. You just have to be able to do enough to keep teams honest. 4th down, going for it. Pass is caught by Hawthorne. Beautiful delivery from Russell, taking a shot downfield on 4th and 1. That's the thing I've been impressed with Baylor, and RG3 used to do it. You know, you saw Bryce Petty do it earlier in this game. They threaten the field vertically, get guys up the field, that vertical passing game. Nobody does it better. Now a botched handoff. The ball is loose, and Russell fighting for the ball. Did he get on it? He did. Boy, the officials blew that early, though. They did. They blew the whistle quickly. I thought the ball was still bouncing around, and they might have been trying to protect Seth Russell, but that ball looked loose to me. You got to have some courage to go after that ball. And the officials blew the ball at that first contact. You're right about that. I thought Buffalo had that ball when the scrum was over. And I don't think you can review that because they blew the whistle, but that is a bad job by the officials, and maybe they are going to review it.
First time out of the half. Buffalo. 30-second timeout.
And I think they want them to look at it. And the rule, if there's an immediate recovery, so an immediate action after the whistle is blown, you can still change a call. And let's look at it again. I mean, he never had that, did he? No, he never had possession. They blew that whistle extremely fast. Have a listen and hear when the officials blow it. Well, I mean, the whistle didn't even come as early. It seemed like it came even earlier. Yeah. I mean, they saw the initial Seth Russell kind of cradled the ball, went down on it, and then as he rolled over, it was knocked out. But to me, it didn't look like he ever had clear possession of it. He might have been on top of it, but I don't know if he had control of the football. Well, there hasn't been a turnover tonight. That one should have been. So when Jeff Quinn and company, when they watch that play, they're not going to be happy. That was a fumble. That was a recovery by Buffalo. It should be their ball. Russell on 2nd and 27. Into the open. Seth Russell, end zone touchdown. So you think that call was big? And yeah, I guess he can move. Yeah, I was just going to say, I think you got to answer your question, Dave. What a great play call again. Very similar to the Shock Linwood touchdown earlier in the game. The middle of that field just opened, parted like the Red Sea, and he took it right up the middle. 31-yard touchdown for Seth Russell. So he comes in. Baylor goes right down the field and gets into the end zone once again. And this extra point is somehow good. So 56-14 the score. We got to our 70 on this touchdown run by Russell. Nighttime here in upstate New York. We're in Buffalo. Baylor gets into the end zone again. 56-14, the 8th-ranked team in the country. And it was a controversial sequence. Baylor looked like they had fumbled. Russell was ruled to have recovered a botched handoff that got knocked into the open field. And a good play by Seth Russell. He hustled and he tried to dive on the ball. This is the play we're talking about right before the touchdown. Russell
never has that ball.
He never had the ball. Buffalo came away with the ball, but the officials on the field ruled that the whistle had blown. He had it. And we were just thinking, well, that play has to be reviewed. And it was not reviewed. And we checked with the replay officials in the booth about why not. And we'll tell you about that after this kickoff. Taken to the 20, out into the open to the 30, and tackled it around the 33. And the officials, the replay officials, told us there was no competitive edge to be gained. In other words, the game is over. Why review that play? And frankly, I vehemently disagree with that decision. It was a turnover, and they just elected not to review it because they don't think the game is competitive any longer. Well, Buffalo would have had the ball. I mean, are they going to win the game? Maybe not. But the next play, Baylor goes into the end zone. You're taking the ball away from a team.
Potentially a 14-point swing, too.
With 13 minutes to go in the game. I just cannot believe that they would not have reviewed that play for that reason. The backup is in now for Buffalo. Tony Daniel is a mobile quarterback, and a little read option ahead to the 40-yard line.
It's one thing if it was a first down and there was a ball that might have been caught or not, and it was inconsequential. You're talking about a turnover.
Totally agree. Yeah. If it's a spot, if it's did they get 8 yards or 10, even a catch inbounds or out, something like that. This was a turnover play and a potential big play. And I just cannot see the justification for saying, no, we're good. We don't need to review that one. They should have reviewed it, and they didn't. Anyway, Buffalo has the ball and a first down for the Bulls on the 7-yard carry by Anthony Taylor, who had a very spectacular touchdown run himself earlier in this game. Still 12 minutes to go. Fumble, and this one will be a turnover. So a bad exchange, and well, wait a minute, they're pointing the wrong. What way are they pointing? Greg Blum is pointing the wrong way. Okay, hold on, Greg.
Ruling on the field is that Baylor recovered the fumble. First down, Baylor.
Yeah, point the other way. Got a little turned around there.
Just a mess between the back, Anthony Taylor, and sometimes that happens. You have a new quarterback in the game, Tony Daniel. He comes in for Licata. Just it's a different quarterback, maybe a different point in which he gives the ball, hangs onto it a little bit longer, and coughed it up.
Brian Nance came up with that ball, a backup defensive end for the Bears. So now Seth Russell back out there again, leading 56-14. Looking deep middle, Hawthorne there, 10-5 touchdown. Turnover, one play, and Baylor gets to the end zone. 37 yards, Lynx. Hawthorne has his second touchdown catch.
Another easy touchdown for Baylor. Now, I just don't know what your Baylor, you have these 3 games to start the season. I don't know what good it does you. I mean, you're not getting tested. maybe you're developing depth. That's the good thing. You're getting some stats.
Extra point up and good.
It's good, and the score.
Well, how about the one-play drive after the turnover? Seth Russell padding the stats. The backups are doing it. And Baylor 63-14, they lead.
ESPN's College Football Primetime is presented by Jimmy John's Freaky Fast Delivery, and in part by the new 2014 Scion FRS. It makes everything epic.
Daytime, nighttime, just spectacular up at Niagara Falls, right along the U.S.-Canada border. Since we went to commercial break, 12 million cubic feet of water have poured over top Niagara Falls since we last talked to you just a couple minutes ago.
Did you do that math?
I did it. 6 million times 2. I nailed it. 63-14. Baylor. Seems like 12 million for the Bears. Piling it on here with 11:34 still to go. And Buffalo is going to get the ball back here. Jacob Martinez, the return man, upended across the 25-yard line. The all-new chase begins in Chicago. It's the Challenger round, the chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup, the myafibstory.com 400 at Chicago, Sunday at 1 on ESPN. Sometimes you watch Baylor's offense and it feels like the cars roaring around the track, just one after another. One blows out a tire, get the next one out there.
Talking to a lot of these teams across the country, they have nicknames for their different tempos. A lot of them refer to the up-tempo as NASCAR pace.
Seems appropriate. Tony Daniels still in, the junior, second-string quarterback. Hand off, right side running. And not a whole lot there for Jordan Johnson. Well, Baylor, they're going to stay undefeated. They'll take their bye week and then get into conference play. They're not going to be at home until October 11th. It's a long way, a long time between home games at their brand new McLean Stadium. Beautiful new stadium in Waco. At Iowa State to kick off conference play, and then they go to Texas. Left side running for a couple of yards. Here's what we're talking about, what Baylor has left. And the big question, Danny, if they have the kind of season that they think they can have, what kind of position will they be in?
If they run the table, if they win out, they're in. They'll win the conference. They'll be conference champions. They'll have a signature win over Oklahoma. The Big Ten imploded last weekend. It was a rough weekend for them. So I think by those standards. But the thing that concerns me with Baylor is moving forward. Their schedule, they're not concerned about it. They're not going to start scheduling. You see a lot of people start scheduling Power 5 conference games. Baylor is not. They're kind of staying, towing the line, saying, hey, if we win the conference, we're in. I think it could come back to haunt them down the road.
And they do get credit. They play the full 9 conference games. Receiver wide open for Buffalo and into Baylor territory. That's Jamal Island, the redshirt freshman, and a good delivery from Tony Daniel.
They play the full 9 conference games, which is great. But they don't have a conference championship game. The Pac-12 plays 9 conference games, and they play a Pac-12 championship game. I just wish there was some, standard across all the Power 5 where you had similar schedules to compare each other to. Have everybody play 9 games and have everybody play a conference championship game.
I think you're right, and I think ultimately we need to get there. I'm just going to play devil's advocate a little bit because I think you're right. And off right side, and Jordan Johnson on first down gets a few. If they run the table, it is extremely likely that Baylor would be one of those 4 teams selected. But let's just say, what if Tennessee pulls off an upset tomorrow? Oklahoma loses. What if Oklahoma loses another game? Maybe it's not likely. But if they're the 20th ranked team in the country and Baylor beats them and that's their signature win?
It depends. If Michigan State runs the table, or Wisconsin, and runs the table and wins the Big Ten and does it in impressive fashion, then it'd be a real interesting case. The committee would have to look at those really closely. And I think you would say Michigan State or Wisconsin had a tougher road.
You could have a team like USC already with a signature win at Stanford. They could pile up the wins and be, if not undefeated, a one-loss team with a lot of quality victories. Oregon could end up in the same boat if Oregon stumbles somewhere else. I'm just saying, if you're not getting any credit for anything you do non-conference, you really need your own league to be very strong to give you the chance for some big wins.
I just don't understand why teams don't want, like Texas A&M or Baylor, why not schedule early in the season, get a test, find out if you are as good as people think you are. Take a stand, make a statement.
Daniel downfield, and it's caught again by Island. Inside the 10, it'll be 1st and goal, Buffalo.
Buffalo continued to show some fight, getting their work in. Nice anticipation by Daniel to the out route. Island comes back aggressively to the ball. It's exactly what you want a receiver to do.
Inside the 5, it'll be 2nd and goal. If you're looking for Sports Center is on ESPN News as we speak. And the top story, another disturbing story, very much so from the NFL. That's on ESPN News as we finish the 4th quarter here from Buffalo. 8th play of the drive. Tony Daniel has been impressive, moving the Bulls down the field. Hand off. Not quite there. Stopped at about the 1. Johnson again. Well, it's hard for us to know, Danny. The MAC could be a little more wide open. Northern Illinois, maybe not quite the power. Buffalo, do they look like a team that maybe has a chance to get to that MAC championship game?
I think they do. I like Joe Licata. I think they've got to step up and make some plays. I mean, they had 2 receivers in Marcus McGill and Ron Willoughby who had each had 100-plus games, but failed to make that big play tonight. Now, some of that might be the fact that they're going against an imposing opponent, but they need to make those plays.
Hand off and a flag thrown into the end zone. Touchdown. We'll see what the penalty is.
Personal foul, chop block, offense number 50 and 71. 15-yard penalty, 3rd down.
So the guard, Andre Davis, the center, Trevor Sales, and that is a big penalty. Instead of a touchdown, they go all the way back.
Watch the center guard combination. There's up down low and up high. You know, the engage on the bottom, and then the left guard going up high. It's to protect the players.
Yep. I know it's not a malicious sort of play, but it's, you know, that's the rule. So 3rd and goal from the 17 after that big penalty. Daniel, the fake handoff, looking for the end zone. Jump ball caught. Touchdown. And a great job there by the Bulls on 3rd and goal. Malcolm Robinson with the touchdown reception.
Malcolm Robinson climbing the ladder to go up and get it, and then did he get that right foot down? Just barely. I think he did get the toe in bounds.
Ooh, close.
Plays the ball perfectly. Gets the toe in bounds.
He did. High snap, extra point, up and good. So even with the penalty, the Bulls punch it in. 21 on the board. Buffalo still something to play for, but they trail Baylor 63-21.
ESPN is your home of the new college football playoff.
Well, Baylor's hoping that the circuitous road to the playoff goes through Buffalo. But Baylor has not been playoff tested here tonight. The Bulls have shown some real spunk here in the second half on offense, but 63-21. is the score. 6:24 to go, and Baylor is going to get the ball back here after the squib kickoff, and the up receiver tackled around the 30-yard line. Well, playoffs. Okay, we're doing this every week, Danny, just to say, for you, for me, who's in as of this moment? If we're the committee, who's in?
I got Georgia. From what I've seen so far, one of the best wins of the season. They've got to do it again, though. They're right there. Another test against South Carolina. Oregon with the signature win over Michigan State. Oklahoma, they played two lighter teams. They've got an opportunity to make a statement against Tennessee. Florida State have actually had them dropping each week. They weren't impressive versus Oklahoma State. And then versus the Citadel, while their linemen weren't getting chop blocked by their defensive linemen. They need to show me a little bit more, which they'll get an opportunity to do against Clemson in a couple weeks.
So Chris Johnson, the third-string quarterback, redshirt freshman, comes in for Baylor here. Well, to me, Oregon has the #1 win. They were so impressive in taking it to Michigan State. So I put Oregon as my #1 team in. And I do agree with you. Georgia's win was impressive, but to me, Texas A&M even more impressive on the road in conference play. Oklahoma, you sort of have to believe in the eyeball test, and I guess I'm saying I do. And USC on the road against a top 15 team.
You are captain of What Have You Done For Me Lately.
That's it. I'm going off results, not reputation. Results so far. Well, that's my top 4, and mine will be very fluid.
I think it should be that way. Until you have enough of a body of work to judge it by, then it should be that way.
And you know what? I think if Georgia wins on the road at South Carolina,
you'll bump them up.
They're going to find a way next week into my who's in top 4.
I hope so.
Because they beat up on Clemson. And it's not Georgia's fault. They had a bye last week. Yeah. But they're out for now. Chris Johnson, 225 pounds. He's got a big arm. He was chance
big.
To play a little bit this year.
We watched him before the game warming up. Who's that guy?
Well, now just trying to protect the ball after the bad exchange. So 4th down, Baylor's going to punt the ball away, and that series did not go particularly well for Chris Johnson. And who knows, 4:40 to go.
Yeah, Buffalo's looking to creep in the back door.
Remember that 35 number. They thought this would be a 5-touchdown game. Baylor's up by 6 touchdowns at the moment, but Buffalo's going to get the ball back anyway. It's a little drama here in the final few minutes after Baylor has to give the ball back. A booming punt. What a punt over the head of the returner. And it's going to be down inside the 15. What a punt there. And now we've got some pushing and shoving back behind the play, but everybody gets separated, and we will take a timeout. So can the Bulls come up with another drive after a 55-yard punt? 63-21. Well, Baylor cruising to a win here tonight on the road at Buffalo out of the MAC. 63-21 the score, but the Bulls get the ball back. And down by 6 touchdowns. Tony Daniel, a handoff, and a lot of room for Jordan Johnson, who's done some nice running for Buffalo in this game, out to the 20. A gain of about 8 on 1st down. Plenty of time for Buffalo to go down the field. So it's 2nd down and a long yard. Another handoff. Johnson's got the 1st down, and more. He's out into the open. Jordan Johnson tackled from behind, but into Baylor territory. Across the 45, down to the 44, and maybe hurting a little bit after the tackle.
Buffalo, the 2nd half, they've got it going. I'm sure Phil Bennett's going to have some words with his defense, but they found some big chunk plays in the 2nd half. It's a nice run.
That's a 35-yard carry. And think back to the drop on the first. If they had just made that catch, they'd be way over 400 yards. They'd be 450-plus yards of total offense. And they had another couple big drops, too, that cost them some yardage.
A couple of these runs inside, you saw some poor tackling at the line of scrimmage. I think you took for granted you'd have a guy down. To Buffalo's credit, they kept running.
They didn't get the playoff. They got a timeout, though, before the delay of game penalty.
Prior to the delay game foul, timeout Buffalo, their second.
So they did get the timeout in. All right, we've unveiled this show me something here on this Friday night where, Danny, you're looking towards a player, a team, somebody for tomorrow. What's your new show me something?
I want to see UCLA. This is a team I was extremely high on coming into this season. They have struggled early. Granted, they had a tough game at UVA. But, man, they have got to do a better job. I'm putting it square on their offensive line. They need to show me something, and more importantly, show Brett Hundley something, because he has been sacked 9 times. He's been pressured on almost every 4 passes he stopped, drop back to pass. If they want to be a team that a lot of people had picked to win the Pac-12 and picked to go to the college football playoff, they have an opportunity to do it against Texas.
I mean, look, we both like BYU. We saw BYU first week of the year. They're a good team. They went down and just pounded away at the Longhorns. If UCLA, if they really think they're a championship contender, they better do the same.
And you're exactly right, because now you've got something to compare them to, and you would expect if BYU could go manhandle Texas, that UCLA would be able to do the same thing. Now,
show me something, Bruins.
Yeah, show me something.
Ball start. Offense number 37. 5-yard penalty, first down.
So a penalty after the timeout. Yeah, coach, not happy. Colton Caldwell called for the false start. Well, Jeff Quinn, I bet he's going to point to this second half with his guys and say, look what we did.
He should. You know, we asked Jeff Quinn about that. What do you call a success of this game? And, you know, he said we want to win every game we take the field. And that obviously was his goal going into this game. But I think you pull out some of the positives, some of the big plays they did make, and you go back and you say, look, if we made a couple of those, which we can make in the future, we're right where we want to be heading into MAC play.
Well, there's the comparison. I mean, they have over 300 yards and 12 first downs in the second half, and they're still going. With 2:20 to go. That last carry from Zach Nicholas, who has been mostly a defensive player, but in the backfield here tonight. A little dump pass, incomplete. That'll be third down. Well, college football on ABC continues Saturday tomorrow. Tennessee on the road, and will it be too tough of a test for the young Vols? Number 4, Oklahoma in Norman, Saturday, 8 Eastern on ABC, presented by Wells Fargo. So a good test for the Sooners, who have looked very good in their first couple games. And Trevor Knight, he was a show me something for you.
I've been really impressed with him. I just want to see him do it against a quality opponent, which I think he will.
Daniel on the move, gets the throw off and gets it complete inside the 40 down to the 38. Jacob Martinez with the reception. But it's going to be fourth down, and for some who are still hanging in with us and watching this game, this is a very important play as Buffalo tries to keep the drive going and get into the end zone.
By 42, trying to knock it down to 35, which is exactly on the number.
Daniel, still plenty of time on the play clock. And the pass is incomplete. He threw it too high. John Dunmore cutting across the field. Incomplete. Baylor holds. And now with 1:21 to go, that will probably do it. Even Baylor's up tempo. I don't think they're going to push it now. You think this falls in the category of every time we have the ball, we got to score, says Art Briles?
I hope not. You might see a brawl on the field if they start slinging it all over the place.
I don't think so. Well, the highest ranked team ever to come here to Buffalo. And Baylor looked like a top 10 team. Art Briles has a lot of stuff he can point to get better, but a new passing record all time in this stadium's history. The first down carry, straight ahead running across the 40-yard line. Baylor's going to take their time here. And the biggest story by far is that guy. Bryce Petty was back. He looked healthy. He's got the 2 cracked bones, the little transverse process, the little wings that stick off of each vertebra. And it's really a pain thing. He didn't look to be in pain. He doesn't look to be in pain now. He looked great. Close to the first down, but not quite there. They do not have to run another play, and I imagine they won't. And Art Briles and company are going to walk onto the field. So Bryce Petty can be very pleased after missing last week. The Heisman candidate. He looked like a strong contender. 416 yards, 4 touchdowns through the air. And the Baylor offense, as usual, was humming. So Briles and Quinn shake hands. Baylor gets the impressive win.
But now they start playing their conference opponents. Now we find out if Baylor's as good as everybody thinks they are. They sure look pretty tough.
So the final 63-21, Baylor gets the win for Danny Cannell and Allison Williams. Dave Fleming saying so long here from Buffalo. The Bears very impressive tonight.
Everybody goes